what I said, and I was surprised because like sometimes I'm still surprised that men know things because men don't say that they know things a lot of times. So then women just think like, oh, okay, well, this is like new or news. And women think they get away with stuff because they don't say things. And men are just like, okay, but like, I know. And they can't say things because of course then the feminists will come after them and be like, oh, it's misogyny, it's you're a bigot, you're a whatever, right? And that's not the case at all. It's the guy realizes that something's going on and he just doesn't say because he would rather have the peace. And if you realize that someone is a feminist, you're like, okay, well, I'd rather live in the corner of a rooftop than with a contentious woman, which is feminists, or like the Bible says, or be around a bear who just lost their cubs than to be with a contentious woman. Or I even put out the poll today. I was like, is it better to live homeless? Is it worse to be homeless or to live with a feminist? And so far, the poll is worst to live with a feminist.
Saying hi from Instagram.
You mean Rumble?
There's the Vado Faye.
Oh, hi. Hi. Thanks for joining the Rumble stream. I love that. Guys, thanks for joining.
Still seeing the stream on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm seeing. I don't know why your screen is frozen, but I'm seeing. Like, if you guys want to follow me on Rumble, go to Real Talk with Kaysha and just follow me there. Super chats appreciated. I don't know how those things work, but if whatever. But yeah, so like, oh wait, hey, follow, thank you. Yeah, but sometimes I'm surprised by men agreeing to like some of the things I say because I'm like, oh, like that means men been knowing and they've been experiencing these things and maybe they want to deal with it, but no one cares, or like they just get gaslit into oblivion. And there's like, oh, and the attitude of women when men will try to bring stuff up is insane, and the things that women will do just to avoid submitting to men is insane. And it's like when I saw the post, it's sometimes that's why it's like really frustrating for me to go through some of the feminist stuff with my dad like on the stream sometimes, because I'm like, I just see this stuff from like the history and I'm just real pissed off because I'm like, bro, it just starts to make sense why a lot of things are the way that they are and why some of your experiences could have been what it was. And feminism is a very dangerous thing, ideologically and historically and in practice. And this is why the Bible says that error doesn't sanctify. But nevertheless, by the way, I hope you guys are having a good day or whatever. I got some piano in my ear, so don't mind me. What?
No, I was just trying to check to see.
So, oh, on vocal?
Yeah.
Oh. So, anyways, oh, by the way, before I get further into that, I okay. Yeah, before I get further into that, I guess I want to let anyone know, no matter what you think you're going through in life, it's not, it might be bad, but don't make it worse by making a bad decision. You know what I mean? You got to raw dog life. You really have to raw dog life to get the most out of it and to have the fullest experience of it. And you need to feel those things and experience them to almost use it as fuel to push yourself or propel yourself rather forward in the most positive way. And it's an exceptionally hard thing to do. no matter how hard life gets, do not make it harder by doing something to cheap yourself out of emotions and, cause yourself to feel better. I can't see the chat.
I
And
get that. I'm trying to fix something because it's not, doesn't seem like it's streaming on local.
oh, well, of course.
I'll just refresh this and see what happens.
Okay. Well, yeah, don't cheap out. Don't cheap out on life. You need to raw dog life. And I know that sounds very maybe crude, but it's true. Don't make your life harder than it needs to be. Don't pick up cigarettes, don't pick up drugs, don't pick up alcohol. Don't pick up sugar. Because it's it's going to make your life a whole lot worse.
So you said they self-sabotage a lot.
Who self-sabotages a lot? Feminists?
The Veto Fae.
No, feminine. Like, who is he talking about? I know who said it. Who is he talking about?
I self-sabotage.
Oh. Dang. Yeah, a lot of people self-sabotage, and for various reasons. But, I mean, like, even things like this, sugar, self-sabotage. Because I know, like, I can just go for a walk and, like, just, sweat it off. But that's not the point. You don't even really want to get yourself in the position where you're going to have to rely on something else. Whatever it is, and this is where you have to be self-reflective, because whatever it is that in that moment that makes you think, okay, I need to go use this thing, you have to start thinking, okay, well, what?
You have to start it up again.
Can't you just upload it after?
No, I'm just gonna start it now. The stream. I don't want to do that.
Oh. Someone said, gotta play the cards you're dealt, but you have to know how to play the cards to play well. Someone said, feeling attacked. Someone said, to the fullest. Huh?
It says resume.
Oh, okay, resume. That's interesting. I didn't even know you can, like, stop and start it. Someone said, it's so sweet, though. Yeah. Sugar is sweet, but look, no matter what it is, like, that you're using to, like, cope with things, eventually you got to drop it. You got to drop it, and that's difficult because you're going to feel like, like, like you're going to, because, at the end of the day, a lot of the things we do is to, like, run from, like, the feeling that we actually have that we don't want to deal with. And it prevents you from doing whatever you need to do or connecting with people in the way that you need to connect, because you said we are our own worst enemy. 100% we are. We are. The only thing that prevents us from doing a lot of things in life is ourselves. We are the ones. Someone said, you make me laugh as F. Oh, Bumba Clot. He's back. Wagwan. Brethren. No, but it's true. What you did, pump people? No, sorry. Okay. No, but no, it's true, because, and I've been thinking about this because I'm like, okay, well, every time I eat sugar, and sometimes he's laughing. Sometimes I do have insulin issues, but it doesn't help. But okay, I'll put it this way: I do have a problem with insulin. I have insulin resistance, and sometimes my sugar drops pretty low, and sometimes I actually do need sugar. And that's a thing. Like, that's fully a thing. However, sometimes it doesn't help that I eat one plate of food over the course of 3 days. Like, and maybe sometimes not getting rest one night will make a difference in how your sugar drops or whatever, and or how it fluctuates and things like that. So it's like there are things that affect that cycle, and then the choice to then overindulge in sugar to make up for not getting the protein that I needed to stabilize my sugar throughout the day, and or the sleep or water or whatever else, right? And then you have to do that quick hit because something else is kind of like suffering. So I said, why would you eat one meal every 3 days? Okay, I said it, but I shouldn't have said it like that. It's not like that. It's like that, but it's not like that. It's the fact that recently I've just not had an appetite. Like for a long time, I've just not really had an appetite. And it's not a weight loss thing. It's not something like that. It's just the fact that I've been very apathetic to food, and I'll try to eat something, like a few bites of something, and then I'll just feel really ill, and then I just won't eat. I just can't because I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And then I'll just put my food up and then try to finish it the next day. I actually went to get food the other day, and my granny was like, I don't even know why you're even gonna get all that food because you're just gonna take 3 days to eat it anyways, and it's just gonna waste. I was like, you didn't gotta go that deep though. Like, I get you, but you didn't gotta go that deep though. Um, it's funny because women in your family would just come out the way and say things to you like at the worst time. And after that, I didn't even eat the food because I was like, you know what? Now I'm not even hungry. Like I was a little bit hungry, and now I'm not even hungry. Um, but and there's a variety of reasons for like why that's the case, and a lot of things are compounding effect, right? So it's like that's something that you take into consideration. But my point is that there is there are things that you do in life that are kind of like I guess a rippling effect, and you have to understand, you have to be self-reflective enough to understand what those things are. Okay, so if you have like an emotion that you're feeling that you are trying to run from, then and that's really what addiction is. That's what addiction is. That's really the cycle of addiction. When you have something that you're feeling that you're trying to escape, and then you'll use something to escape. You'll use drugs, you'll use sex, you'll use alcohol, you'll use cigarettes, you'll use food, you'll use sugar, you'll use like risky behavior, shopping, money, whatever, you know. And that doesn't deal with it because that represses the feeling that you're dealing with, and then causes you to actually it causes you to do more of it, right? Like, and at the end of the day, no matter how small the behavior or tendency is, because I think, and this is also why prayer and fasting is also important in a lot of ways, because when you pray and fast and you're just sitting there fasting, it's just you and God, you realize just how much things that you do. Wait, what's going on there?
Which
What's going on with that?
this?
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix it.
Oh, I thought it was just resume. But I can't see either of those I can't see that comments, and I can't see that one.
Look,
I'm just saying.
comments are right here. And the other ones, you just have to worry about what's underneath.
Okay, well, I don't have my glasses, but that's okay. Yeah, so like ultimately when you pray and fast, you're stuck in a position where it's only you and God. So you're just gonna, whenever something happens, you're gonna sit down and be like, okay, well, in a time like this, I think that I would actually probably grab and eat something, because when you feel something, when you're in a moment of prayer and fasting, you're gonna be like, okay, well, all of these situations, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's excitement, maybe it's joy, maybe it's happiness, maybe it's anger, maybe it's sadness or worry, anxiety, whatever. And you'll just, when those things come about, whatever you naturally crave to do, that will come out, and you'll be like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And but you can't, because you have the premeditated understanding that you are just going to go and pray and fast for that extended period of time. And so then you have to go and pray and ask God to help you with that. And so you come to a realization, okay, like this is what I'm relying on instead of God. And then obviously if you're a woman like me, who obviously you have authority figures in your life, whether it be a father or like a boyfriend, a future husband, or your husband, whatever the case, in moments where you're supposed to rely on a man, you choose, like God and a man, you choose to rely on yourself, and then relying on yourself causes you to do things that make yourself worse because you're like, oh, I can do this by myself. I can figure this out by myself. Next thing you know, you're copping an attitude because you're doing things that you're not equipped to do by yourself because you want to be, Miss Independent and big man on the block, and then you end up wrong and strong. And that's not what you want to be. And I think a lot of things that what does chicken jockey mean? I think a lot of things that women participate in, or people in general for sure participate in, are things that are to self-soothe. A lot of things in life are self-soothing, and it doesn't need to be that way, and it makes yourself worse. And that's why you really have to raw dog life. The only addiction you should have is, I guess, God and the man. Like, as a woman, I can't speak for men. I really can't speak for men because I'm not a man. I don't know. I don't know. But as a woman, the only addiction I think that you should have in life is God and your man. Like 100%. That's the only addiction that you should have. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, well, in Genesis 3:16, it talks about, God says, I will greatly multiply your sorrow to Eve when he's distributing consequence, because obviously the Bible says that she was deceived, but sin entered the world through Adam. And when he says he'll greatly multiply her sorrow, he tells her that she will sorrow in conception, in giving birth, in her desire for her man, her husband, and then also for sorrow in him ruling over her. And that's very significant. That is a multiplier of, indeed, a multiplier of sorrows, and the greatest sorrows that women have. And a lot of women lash out and do a lot of interesting things because they are afraid to submit, because it's like, oh my gosh, like, what is going to happen if, like, I express this emotion to this person, and like, what if this person sees this emotion that I'm having, or this desire that I'm having towards that person? How is that going to affect the dynamic? And this is where it's like, you have to realize where you are failing to submit, or you are too scared to submit to the authority. And this is why you're actually doing backwards behaviors, because if you were submitting and just collapsing into a man, then you would not be doing a lot of things that you're doing. And even I said, it doesn't matter if it's sex, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, food, or sugar. It's not going to make up for the emotion you're trying to escape, and it's just going to make it build up, and then eventually you're going to snap and it's all going to pour out. And I've never been a drug addict, never been an alcoholic, never really been addicted to substances. Wasn't for me. Sugar, though, I have been a crackhead for sugar. My dad as a kid, when I was a kid, used to tell me, man, Kaysha, you got some sugar problems. And my mom was like crazy about sugar too. But someone said, I don't think the sugar thing counts with you, though. Insulin is a serious thing. Yes, it is a serious thing. And I don't typically, this guy's laughing at me. I don't typically eat sugar the way that I've been eating it as of late. Because my insulin's been really messed up. But it's to prove the greater point, because despite the fact that it's insulin, there's an issue with the insulin, I'm also identifying the fact that there are some compounding factors there, that some of which I can control and some of which I cannot. And the ones that you can control is what I'm trying to say should be managed to the best of your abilities. And you need to recognize, is what I'm saying, in taking account, I'm saying that you as an individual, or I myself in this particular case, need to recognize when it's a necessity and when you're doing it because you're running from an emotion that you are scared of. And that's pertinent um, to understand, because if you want to be the best version of yourself, then you know you want to manage those things to the best of your abilities. Obviously sometimes I'm just going to crash and I'm just going to be like, hey, just grab whatever I can in that moment to be like, okay, I'm awake again. But there are things that you can do to help manage even that, and that's the point. And a lot of people don't look at those things, and that's really what I'm trying to get at, is that I'm trying to use myself as an example to really say that on a broader sense, that a lot of times um, we indulge in things as people, in certain behaviors or certain tendencies, is because we're running from our God-given roles and responsibilities as men and women. We are not doing what we need to do, and life would be exceptionally easier if we decided to do in that moment what we needed to do, the hard thing that might feel embarrassing, it might feel difficult, it might feel strenuous. It, like, you might even say you have to ask, um say you feel like you're such an independent person and you hate asking for, even advice, for example. Maybe you just have a lot of pride, or you hate asking for help for anything. You're just an independent person. Okay, well, and in a relationship, if you're a woman, okay, well, then what are you going to do? Are you going to go out and, instead of asking for help, like advice or whatever the case may be, are you going to go out and try and solve the thing yourself? Okay, well, women usually, when they go and try to solve things themselves, they get themselves into more problems, right? Because they don't actually know how to solve it. They're just going to be throwing darts in the dark, and maybe they'll go and comfort themselves with sugar and be like, I don't know what to do. And then you're damaging yourself. A lot of people will think, okay, well, I just need to feel better right now. But they don't realize that whatever they're doing to feel better, whether drugs, sex, alcohol, partying, shopping, food, sugar, whatever they're using as a replacement to help themselves, instead of trusting a man to help them, they are doing direct damage to themselves in the moment and over an expressed period of time long term, and making life more difficult for themselves and the man long term, instead of just going directly to him and being like, hey, I need help. Can you please help me? I do not know what to do. Please, I need your advice. Or please show me, because I don't know. Like, women hate that. Women hate having to do that, because there is sorrow in that, because it means that she is ill equipped, that she has no capacity in the matter, because that's really what it is. They are incapacitated and ill equipped to deal with that. And there's no piece of paper that would really equip them to deal with that situation. As much as we want to flaunt that we have a piece of paper, or that we might have some money here or whatever, that's not going to equip you to do what you need to do. Someone said, when you speak to some women, they'll tell you the problem is not submitting, but if the man deserves their submission. That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, Said, if I'm not quick to judge, I understand that some women have had experiences in their past that make them unwilling to easily submit till they're certain of the guy. Look, this is why I said it's important to go and have the man, like, be vetted by your father, because, like, your father is going to know what's best for you. Your father is going to vet the guy and understand how he behaves as a man, and then tell you if it's a man that is going to be that's going to gel well with you, if it's a man that's going to help you grow in all the areas of life that you need to grow. If it The father ultimately at the end of the day doesn't want to give his daughter to someone who's going to take advantage of her. So he's going to only approve her to be with someone that she likes but also will treat her well, because the father wants to make sure when he sends off his daughter with a guy that she never has to come back, that she can go and enjoy her life and have her life, and that she can be good to him, he can be good to her, whatever. And that's really what it is. So if women did that, then they wouldn't have to worry about the respect giving submission to a man, because she would, by proxy of respect for her father and trust in her father, she would then distribute that respect and trust and submission to that man, because if her father vetted him and said, okay, I like the way he thinks, go ahead, then she would give that respect and submission to that man, and she'd be able to do that. The problem is a lot of women don't have fathers, or they don't listen to their fathers. A lot of women don't have fathers. A lot of women don't have fathers, and the one with fathers, they don't listen to them, and then they don't know who to trust or what to believe or whatever, and they get themselves in trouble because they think they understand men better than their fathers, and they go based on their feelings, and it's a mess. And then they things like that. But the submission has nothing to do with the fact that the man deserves it or not, because even if you don't agree with the man's behavior that day, even if you guys are in a fight, you need to show him respect above all things, respect and love. Because if someone is weak that day or they're having a bad day, it's not your moment to jump in and beat them down. You're supposed to calculate the circumstance for each other's success. So if you see that he has a little bit of an attitude that day, or maybe and I don't even think that's usually the case, man. Like, just to be fair, man, like, it's a lot of times the women that catch the attitude, and it's a lot of time women who catch the attitude because they're so used to doing things alone, and they're almost angry that they have to ask the man for help, and then sometimes they choose to despise the man because they need the help and that they don't have the solution, because if they have the solution, it means that they can have control over the house and they have control over the man, and that means by proxy in their mind that their relationship with that man is somehow going to be better, and that's not the case. A woman controlling her relationship is tyrannical, and it would never work, and it will never secure the relationship. The only way for it to work and be prosperous, if you actually submit to a man, let him lead, and you do your role as a woman, because the more the woman tries to do the role as the man, the more she screws everything. They'll completely destroy the home. Like, the man needs that space to be a man, and the woman needs the ability to be a woman. The man has to take responsibility for his role, and the woman needs to take responsibility for her role. And more often than not, a man will come home, and he will come home from a long day, and first thing the man comes home in the house, the woman is just spazzing on him and spouting different darts of nonsense to him. And he's just like, whoa, that meme where it's like 50 Cent and he's like, F me. Why'd you say F me for? And he's just like, that's kind of how I see, like, in my mind, how I think of like men when they first come home, and then women are just like, ah, la, 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 la. Instead of like the man just coming home and the woman greeting him with a hug and a kiss and saying that, she's really happy and excited to see him. And say, I've got this food for you, I've run the bath for you, or whatever he prefers. I don't know very many men that, take bath, but you get the point. And whatever he likes, or, just helping him relax and settle into the home instead of complaining. Women don't understand just how much they make it difficult to be around them, and just how insufferable they are. And can you please scroll down there, please? You can, yeah, and you can, because I can figure out right now. But women have no idea just how much they turn men off. And I think like when a woman treats a man very well, then he wants to actually come home. When a woman treats a man terribly, he's like, "Oh my god, I have to go home." And they might stop along the way to so many different places before they come home, and even when they get home, they'll sit outside for like in the car many minutes before coming in, and they're just like, mentally I have to prepare to go inside because I don't know what she's going to say or what she's going to do. I don't know what the problem is going to be or what, nobody wants to do that. They want to go out to war every day and come home to war in their house with the woman that's supposed to be their peace, because a woman is supposed to be your peace. Like your home is supposed to be a peaceful place for you where you can go and relax. And the worst thing possible is when the place that is supposed to be your home is a war ground, like a battlefield or whatever, and you're just constantly like, Jesus wept. Like, you're just like, nothing makes you question your desire to breathe oxygen more than women. More than feminist women, I'll tell you that right now. Um because it honestly feels better. What the heck is this? It would feel better in many cases to be not breathing. And a feminist woman will provoke the hell out of you. She will provoke the hell out of you. And when you don't have a father and you weren't raised with your father, it's like, okay, but there comes a point where you have to take accountability and just be like, you know what, I don't know, and there's some things I don't know, but I want to know, and I want to treat you well. I want to work with you. I want us to break these cycles together, and I want to spend my life with you, and I want to serve you in a way that's meaningful to you, um and not just based on what I feel like, because obviously I'll love you, obviously I'll cherish you and respect you, but I want to do what's meaningful to you and what you need. So please teach me, please show me, and I'll do my best, because I want you to be at peace, I want you to be happy, and I care about what you care about, what's important to you. If women came at things that way, it would be very different, because it's like, then it would show the initiative that you're willing, and you're going to make some mistakes. Granted, everybody does, nobody's perfect, but it takes a certain level of self reflection to stop and look at the situation and be like, okay, instead of actually trying to submit in this situation, I am trying to self soothe. And I'm trying to self soothe in all these ways because I think it's better than just coming out and saying that this is what I want to do, or this is how I feel, or this is what I'm experiencing with that man. And that causes women a lot of problems. And then they'll build up emotions of frustration with themselves and other people because they're just refusing to take help or refusing to ask for help, and causing themselves more of a difficult time. If you don't have a father, okay. But like I said, at some point, you just have to accept the fact that you don't know and just straight up say, I don't know. Please show me, because I don't know. Like I think the best answer that you can ever have in this world is, I don't know. I don't know. Please tell me. Because as much as you know, or as much as you think you might know, there's might be still something that you don't know. And unless you say, I don't know, you're not going to get the information. And that's really the best approach to take when you have a conversation, because a lot of times, even women who are feminist, they will insert their assumptions, and they will insert their view of reality, like their emotions, on the other person as their intent. So how I feel about my emotion is your intent. And that's not how that works, especially not with men. And so like you have very interesting and you're very interesting and have an advanced intellect. Honestly, that's the grace of God and my father for giving me the foundation, and then a man who built on it, quite frankly. Because I would not be sitting here telling you those things if it wasn't for them. And that's just the truth. I can't take credit for literally anything that I'm telling you because every ounce of it has come from a man. The only thing that I can, well, the experience with a man, the only thing that I can justifiably tell you, I can I can't even justifiably tell you that the things that I'm telling you about women is not even from an experience with a man, because an experience with a man has made it clear to me of what women do even more, and what I do as a woman, and where my failings are, and how I can improve, and like, all these other things. So it's like, it's the importance of having men in your life. So thank you for that, but I cannot take credit to it at all, at all, at all. But I like that. I like that because that means that there's constantly going to be opportunities for me to grow and learn, and that there's going to be a constant flowing source of like knowledge. And uh someone said it's part of you too, because I can see you processing thoughts as your eyes moving around. I'm processing thoughts because I'm processing the circumstances by which I came to understand this information, and I'm putting the pieces together in a way where the audience can understand what I'm saying. But my thought process and looking around or thinking, as people see it when I'm talking, comes from me making a recollection of my experiences with the individual to make sense of the linear thought. So yes, in part, for sure. Yes, for sure, in part me, but I wouldn't come to the conclusions without a man. I'll tell you guys. So I wrote this thing the other day because I put it more succinctly. Um, so I said, even the way you explain yourself right now is just crazy. I love it. That's so funny. Um, I put it succinctly the other day, and I spent the whole stream trying to get trying to put it together, and I'll just read you guys what I wrote because it's just more succinctly here. Okay? So I said, just because I did it doesn't mean you can do it. Most women do not have my calm, my strength, resilience, discipline, or self control, etc. Most women see me and feel inspired, intimidated, or encouraged. That's what they say, at least. Still, they look at me and only see me, so they think they can be me or do what I'm doing. They can't, and they should not. They think I'm strong, but I am not. They don't realize that if I didn't have a father and a man helping me, that I would be a complete basket case. My father gave me the foundation and a man built on it. That is literally the only thing separating me with certain distinguishability from the women who are in fact basket cases, i.e. crackheads, 304s, alcoholics, drug addicts, etc. Women lack complete capacity without the influence of a good man, of God and a good man. Don't ever call me a strong woman. I'm leaning on strong men for support. That's my big secret. Even a woman with God cannot do what I'm doing unless a man creates the circumstances for her. So there you have it. Don't ever inspire to be me in order to be great. Inspire to submit to a good man and be great in the mission that God and him is leading you towards. Then and only then will you truly be great and have purpose. And nothing will fulfill you more than that. Nothing will give you the enlightenment, wisdom, knowledge, or understanding you're looking for apart from a good man. Nothing will give you greater peace and joy than submitting to a good man and serving him. You want to change your life? Find a good man. That's really the crux of the issue. And that comes down to, even, like I said, the only certain distinguishability between me and women who are literally basket cases is the fact that I am leaning on good men, exceptionally strong, capable, and intelligent, very intelligent men for support. If I was not, I'm telling you right now, this lollipop, this however many ounces of Slurpee this is, these Sour Patch Kids would not be what I would be munching on. I would have like, I would maybe be smoking, drinking, sleeping around, doing drugs, like selling myself, who knows? Because the only difference between me and those women is the fact that I have good men in my life. That is the only difference. I am a woman at the end of the day, which means I am wholly incapable of solving a lot of problems that men are meant to deal with by myself. It is impossible. I can have another you in a minute, baby. So go ahead and get calm. Go on. That's what someone commented. I'm so dead. Holla at that chick and see if she's home. Oops, I bet you thought that. I didn't know. I'm sorry, that's so funny. No, I can't have another. I can never have another him in a minute. 100% no. 1,000, 1,000,000% no. It's not possible. And this is the thing, like, this is what I'm trying to say, because there's so many things that women deal with in life that they don't realize that they don't need to deal with if they just trust a man and they rely on a good man, and they just say, I don't know, please show me. I want to fix this problem and I don't know how. Please show me, please help me. Like I need you. I don't know how to need you the right way, but please show me how to need you the right way so that we can make this work. That would solve most of women's problems, most of their stress, most of their addictive tendencies, because they would also just be pouring more love and more respect mainly, more respect and more desire towards that man. Because instead of the focusing on the stress of, I have all these things and I don't know how to fix it, and I'm trying all these different things and none of them are working, and I'm splitting all of my ideas to all these different places and none of them are working, it's like you could literally just ask him. You know that if there's a guy that you love and you respect and you're attracted to him and you see that he's good at something, you don't need to be good at that. He doesn't love you because you're good at that. He doesn't want you because you're good at that. A lot of women think that when a man is capable in an area, that he also wants her to naturally be capable in that area, when in fact, he knows he's capable in that area because he's a man. God built him to be capable in that area. God did not build you to be capable in that area. And if you want capacity in that area, you just need to ask. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. You just need to try. And this is what's, sorry, I'm out here moving like a real druggie. um, Always messing with my nose. I promise I'm not snorting anything. Oh my God. Anyway, a lot of the problem with women and the reason why they don't understand God either is because instead of doing this with men and going out and trying to, be capable in things by themselves and all this stuff, like they approach God with that strong arm kind of way too. Like, oh, like, God, look, I can do this and I do this or whatever. And it's like, no, you go to God because you need help. You go to God because you need guidance and that you trust that he has the answer. And whatever that answer is, you might not like the answer, but you're going to like the result. So you lean on God for support and for, to show you the way, because you're just like, I don't know. And it's the same with a man. Like, you go to him because you see that he has capability, capacity, and value in things that you'll never understand by yourself. And you go to him and be like, please show me the way. And in doing that, it helps you understand that God is that same way and that you don't actually need to be perfect to come to God. You just need to be willing. You just need to have an open mind and an open heart and say, like, I don't know. I really don't understand, but I want to know, I want to understand, and I want to do my best to make things work that way. And I've never done it before. I know that I will be sideways sometimes. I know I'll have an attitude sometimes, but be patient with me. I'm going to try and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it and I'm just going to work towards it every single day. And it's like, that's all you need. You just need to humble yourself, because in refusing to humble yourself and let go of your pride, you are ruining the potential of something that can be very beautiful for yourself and for those around you and the person that you love and respect. It's like a lot of women, when they find solution to things by themselves, the solution is usually deviance, to be fair, because women have no clue how to catch up with men without deviance, and that's just what it is. This is why I said, like, as intelligent as I am and as great as I am, I never tell people that it's me in and of itself, because if it was not for my father and a man, I promise you I would be cooked. And especially now that I'm an adult and I need to have my own family, the only reason a lot of this progression I'm having now is because of a man. Because a father can only get so much out of you. It's like, he's your parent. He's going to be there. He's not going to motivate me to do what a man can do. That's not possible. It's just never going to be possible. Um, and that's supposed to be that way because then you would never leave your parents. It's very sick and twisted. So it's like, the motivation that you have for a man is what's going to propel you forward to, to do great things in life that your parents would never be able to get out of you and never be able to inspire you to do, because your parents cannot inspire you that way. They build the foundation, and then man comes along and builds something miraculous on top of it, and you work with him to continue building that kind of like empire and that life or that greatness, whatever the case it is that you guys are going to be sharing together. And that comes with a lot of humility. That comes with a lot of you being able to sit back and look and be like, you know what, I have this issue and I need to work on it. And I'm going to try my best, because, I mean, what is your other option? Like, when you really think about it, women need to sit back and ask themselves, the things that I'm doing to cope by myself, instead of going to him directly and saying, this is what I need, this is what or maybe what I would like, or this is what I need help with, or this is, I just don't know. Like, what, think about what the think about the risk of what that man might respond to you. Okay, maybe your feelings will be hurt for a few seconds. Might be hurt for a few days, you never know, because based on the response, you might be feeling some type of way, who knows? And you might not. You might not. But what are you going to do as a reverse? Your feelings might be hurt because, you have the fear of the rejection or whatever else. Or, him saying something to you like, yeah, you need to work on this. And you're just being like, my feelings. Screw the feelings. Because if you don't go through that process with him, then what are you going to do instead? What are you going to go do to self-soothe and come up with ideas to fix things that you have no idea how to fix? And then you're going to be spinning your wheels doing something that never works. Eating sugar. Eating sugar is not the solution to your problem. Like, it's also why women having money is mostly useless, because they don't know how to spend it to be productive. I was talking to somebody about this today. It was really funny. And she was telling me something, and I was like, girl, me neither. Like, I'm very smart with money when it comes to like saving, but that's useless. It's not really productive. I don't spend like a maniac, because I just really don't care. But just letting money sit there and not do anything is not productive either. So it's like, am I really financially literate, or do I just not spend money? Like, that's what I used to do, like when I was working, like, years ago, and before all this mess happened with COVID or whatever. And I had good credit because I'd always put money on my card before I bought like food or whatever else. And so putting a band-aid on everything, literally. I would, if I wanted to go get like a bagel or something, or a coffee from Tim's, or hot chocolate or whatever, then I would go put the money on my credit card and then buy it, so that I didn't have to think about it later. And you know, that built my credit pretty quickly, like, because I was always just doing that with my purchases or whatever. But and then when I had money for, you know, I would spend money on my bills and then just leave the rest of the money. I just not do anything. And then if I needed to actually spend money on stuff, I would actually spend money. Like if I actually needed something like clothes or whatever else. But that doesn't make me smart with money, because I don't understand how to use money to make more money, and I don't understand like how men, I just don't understand money. Like, and like whenever I start hearing about money, my brain just turns off because I can't care enough. And you know, sometimes I feel bad about that, because I'm like, maybe if I cared more about money, things would be different. But I'm kind of, in some ways, I'm glad that I don't. But, you know, and that's the thing with a lot of women. You might be financially literate in the sense where it's like, okay, you know how to do small things to like build your credit and like keep yourself at good pace, or, you know, pay your bills and, you know, put your money aside. But that's not actually being smart with money. That's being safe. You know, like that's just doing, that's being actually, that's being scared. That's actually being scared, because it's like you're doing things always a certain way because you just don't want any repercussion or risk or challenge, and you don't know where, like you have no idea where to invest the money to make more money, like, you know, so, or to invest to even bring any benefit. And so that's really an issue. You can't go on and do things trying to, so much creaking upstairs. You can't go on and do things trying to, you said at least you are honest. Few women are willing to admit their shortcomings. I can be honest. Again, I can be honest because I had a father that built foundations, and I'm experiencing a man that is showing me an experience that's making me come to a lot of conclusions. Just the experience itself is making me come to a lot of conclusions and realizing, like, oh, wait, actually, wait a minute, Kaysha. Hold on, wait a minute, take a step back. You might want to fix this. Wait,
What?
you ate already?
No, I didn't.
Oh, they're still doing this stuff. Yeah. So, you know, if I didn't have that, how would I come to these conclusions? How would I come to realize? And, you know, I went my whole life, like I said, there's a lot of things that I thought I was really smart about, and I'm realizing that no, there's a lot of things that I'm not very smart at all. Like there's things I'm good at for sure. God has given me talents. Someone said the parable of talents. Yeah. I'm very good at languages. I can pick them up like that. I can pick up instruments like that as well. Like if I really want to. Like everyone, a lot of people are like, "Oh, Kaysha, uh do you play piano or whatever? Like how long did you practice the song or whatever?" I'm like, honestly, man, whenever I post videos of me playing piano, I watched the song on YouTube like once or twice, and then I just played it for fun and posted it. And that's why, like, sometimes it sounds like trash. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I just, that's what I do with music. I literally pick up the instrument, I watch the song a couple times on YouTube, and then I run it back. I just play it in my head, and then I'm like, and then I just post it because I'm like, that was fun. Okay, bye. And then if you asked me to play the song again, I won't be able to play it probably by memory because it's been a while. But if I go back, look at the video, then I can run it back. You know, then I'm like, oh, okay, I remember. Then I'll just start doing the song again. Like, I'm very quick to pick things up. And if I really, really practiced, I know I would be good. I know I would be good because I also did piano lessons as a child. And, you know, I just have my family, they have a natural knack for those things, like very creative and instrumental or linguistic things. My dad is very good at languages. His sister is very good at languages. I don't know why. It's just what God gave us. And so, like, I have natural talents that way. Do I know how to make money with those talents? No, not at all. I don't know what the hell to do with any of the talents God gave me. Every single talent that God gave me, I'm like, I'll just use this for having kids one day. Like, I'll just teach this to my children. The only reason, one of the biggest reasons I learned many languages growing up, my dad was like, okay, it will be good if you ever want to get a government job or, any high paying job. It will give you a better look if you have multiple languages because you're going to be a better asset to the company or whatever else that you're going to be working for, whatever career you choose. And it'll be better if you have like a varying level degree of clients or whatever, because you're in a country that's very diverse and it has multiple languages as the official language. So you're gonna French and English, obviously Canada, so you're gonna want to go and do that. Outside of that, I was just like, you know what, I'll just teach my kids these one day. I'll just pick a few languages and I'll just, when I have babies, I'll just speak to them. I used to think that when I had babies, I would just not speak to them in English, like a first language, because it's easy to learn English. They're here it everywhere. But I wanted them to speak another language for sure. So I was like, I'll pick up all these things. And then the instruments too, I was like, oh, we'll just teach my children. And then, cooking and cleaning, sewing, knitting, crocheting, all that stuff that my granny taught me. I was like, oh, I'll just teach my kids one day. Like everything in my mind, I was just like, oh, I'll just teach my kids one day. So let me learn this. And so I've been preparing all these skills from the time I was a kid, just thinking, oh, I'll just teach my kids one day. But if you ask me how to use these skills to make money, I couldn't tell you. I could tell you how a lot of criminals make money because I've seen a lot of things over the years, not ever done it. I could tell you how prostitutes make money because I've seen people do that. And in prison, also, people, like when I was unlawfully detained by ICE in America, a lot of these people told me how they ran game, but it didn't matter because it made sense. Because I've told you guys before that my mom and her, friends and what have you was prostitutes like my whole life. So, it there's a difference though. And that's the thing. A lot of women, when they want to, and the problem is, the reason why that is, a lot of women use degeneracy to make money very quickly and do things because they don't understand how men operate as men, and they can't sell value to men in companies or in the real world, because I can't go to a man and tell him that he needs something because I don't know what he needs. I can't tell a man what he needs, and I can't convince a man what he needs. I could tell a woman what she needs. I can convince a woman what she needs because I'm a woman, and I can give her the experiential and circumstantial knowledge as a woman as to why it makes sense and outline why the woman is doing what she's doing and where it's tending. I cannot do that with a man. So it's very hard for women to sell anything to men other than sex, drugs, alcohol, because then when a man comes for that, the man wants that, and he's going to keep coming back for it, and it's easy because that is his natural inclination. A woman can't sell. This is why women are so bad in corporate America and so bad in business, and they do the most shady crap you've ever seen in your life. And feminists especially will go out of their way to destroy you and even kill you circumstantially. She will create the circumstances in many ways, with men puppeteering her all which way, that can get you killed because she cannot do things with men and make value make sense to men and convince the man that the value that she has, he needs. Men decide. Men see value and they decide if they want it or not, and they decide how they want to use it. Women do not do that, which is why their only options really is selling themselves, becoming prostitutes, selling drugs, selling alcohol, anything degenerate, because they know men will always be there and it will always be for grabs. It's just easy. It's, if a woman tries to sell like actual stuff to men, she's going to want to off herself because she's not going to be able to compete. She won't be able to keep up. She just cannot. And they know that. Women just know that. Someone says, seems like you would make a great mother one day. Again, My dad gave me the foundation, a man is building on it, and that's the reason. Because if it was not for that, then that, as much skills as I had, it would not made a difference. I promise you. I promise you. Because when times get rough, and this is why a lot of people try to put fathers in really bad situations. And this is what my dad was saying the other day, why people kept trying to put him in a very difficult position. Because if they could actually get my father destroyed bad enough, and I was left alone for long enough and abused long enough, there is a high probability that I would end up just like all of these other women. It would take a substantial amount of force and abuse and coercive circumstances, but eventually I'm only a woman. I'm only as great as the men in my corner. And a lot of the people look at me and they say like, oh, like the stuff that you're able to overcome. Me? I promise you, if it wasn't my dad in my ear telling me, Kaysha, don't do it, man. And I'm not talking about selling myself or whatever else, because that's not my inclination. Just like being a voice of reason, like, don't do this, don't do that. Okay, this is what we need to do. This is what you need to do. Bro, I don't know what would have come of me. And that's being honest. Women are women, and men need to get out of the mentality that women actually are these goddesses and that they're all the way up here and they have like all this capacity for things that they don't have, and that God has somehow elevated women to break the glass ceiling, and then they're just taking all of this slack and abuse and stuff from women because they've just elevated them to the highest, to the sky, to the heavens. And it's like, that's not what it is. We are the weaker vessel for a reason. We are literally not built that way, my friend. So yeah, you looking at me thinking, oh, she done all this and she's so great. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm very weak. I promise you. This is like my second or third Slurpee this week. I don't know how many ounces this is. Très grand. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It doesn't tell me the ounces. Très grand is like extra large. That's a lot of sugar, but I don't know how many Slurpees I had this week. That must have been the third one. I have this lollipop here. I have these Sour Patches. If it were not for my dad and a man, I promise you, I would be out here probably doing a madness. Because I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, I wouldn't be able to handle, like, the circumstances of life. And that's just women in general. So yeah, I might be the most strongest and the most capable woman that, you know, men have ever seen before, or women have ever seen before. And people tell me that all the time. But it's because I'm dealing with the most capable father people have ever seen before, and the most capable man that people have probably ever seen before. Like, very intelligent, very laid back, very strategic, and very smart men. So, I mean, that's really the difference. I saw this, and this is what I was really going to get to. I wanted to get to this post. And actually, can you pull this for me if I send it to you?
Which?
I sent you the thing on the DM. I sent you the video. Can you pull it for me?
Where?
On the DM.
DM which?
On the X DM.
Well, that was more helpful.
Well, someone said the trick is to work for 5 years while investing, then you times 100 and start a home business. See, like, what you just said there doesn't make sense to me, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. Like the words are wording and the sentence was sentencing, but the brain was not braining. Someone said, hey Kay, hey man, how's it going? When you humble yourself, you are lifted up. Yeah, it's true. But you have to be honest too. Like, you really have to be honest. And this is what I'm saying. Like, women, if they were honest with themselves in these situations, they wouldn't look at other women some type of way, because ultimately a lot of women want to come on here high, like on their high horse. And this is why I've always told people I am not a good person. It's not because I'm evil. It's not because I'm saying I'm malicious. It's not because I'm saying like I'm a demon or nothing like that, because that's not the case at all. I'm just not a good person. The Bible says no one is good but God. So that's full stop. That's ultimately why I say I'm not a good person, because the Bible says God is the only, there's no one good but God. So if there's good in me and there's good that I've done, it's because of God. And then the men around me, because listen. But aside from that, I if women were not looking at themselves like they were on this high horse, like they're so amazing and they don't need anyone, and their crap doesn't stink or whatever, they would be going through life in a very different way, and they would be appreciating life and men in a very different way, because they would understand that they wouldn't even treat women the way that they treat them, quite frankly, because they would understand that they're only,
Talking about this one.
yeah, they would realize there's only a few degrees of separation between them and those women. I look at women who are prostitutes and drug addicts and you know all these other things. Someone said Vegeta tendencies entered the chat. That's so funny. Yeah, I look at women who are prostitutes, drug addicts, and alcoholics, and all these other things, and I can see myself in a lot of those women, not because I do those actions, but because there's only a few degrees of separation between me and them, and the only difference is I was blessed with good men in my life, and for whatever reason, whether it be their choice to not to not be respecting good men, or they just had a different circumstance, that's really the only difference. Because if you don't have good men around you protecting you from bad ideology, bad thoughts, bad actions, um, and bad anything, then you're going to be stuck in a loop of circumstance that you're cooked. If men just hear that you have a man in your orbit, they're scared. Because if like when I was in the US, sometimes men would try to talk to me, and I always defer to my father. But if it was outrageous, if it was just too much, sometimes I would be like, I have a man around, and they'd be like, oh, really? But, and I was like, they're like, oh, but what if, and I was like, he kills people. And they'd be like, wait, does he really? I'm like, depends who you got. And they're like, no, but he doesn't actually kill people, does he? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But I don't think you want to find out. And I'm joking, of course. Man doesn't kill people. But the fact of the matter is, men will leave you alone if they think that there's another man around that's going to give them consequences. And women know that, which is why a lot of times when women are walking and then a guy starts talking to them, they'll lie and they'll be like, I have a boyfriend, because they're scared and they know that a man is not going to listen to them if they just say, leave me alone. Because a man is not going to listen to you if you say, leave me alone. He's going to keep pushing and be like, oh, well, a lot of men do. They'll keep talking to you and be like, oh, well, let me take you out of this or whatever. And then it's like, it doesn't matter how many times you say no. For some men, the only no a man hears is, you have to speak to my father first, or I have a man. And sometimes I have a man. For them, they're like, oh, well, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, but he kills people, so. And he doesn't actually, but like, men just start, they're just like, okay, and then they leave you alone. But you should see the way that men's face drop. It's so funny. I'm sorry to the men, but when men understand that they actually cannot keep coming at you, whether you say, oh, you have to speak to my father, or like, I have a boyfriend, or I have a husband, or whatever else, the drop in their face, if they've actually been harassing you, the drop in their face is crazy. Like, the realization on their face, it's like, you're guilty. So anyways, a lot of the problems is women's inability to realize that having a man around protects you from bad ideas, from bad people around you, from bad circumstances around you, And the only way you're going to evade that is if you submit to them. It's the only way. It doesn't matter which way you try to flip it, switch it, drop it, bop it, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to find the solution. Someone said it's difficult to find women with good men in their corner nowadays. It is. It is. But that's why I said the best answer a woman can tell a man is humbling herself and being like, look, I don't know, but please just show me. Like, I don't know. Because that's really what we're getting to now is women. And again, because women understand that men have a certain desire for them. And a man in a proper relationship, a man should demonstrate that he genuinely has desire for a woman, because if he doesn't demonstrate desire for the woman, she's going to think that he's getting it somewhere else. She's going to feel he doesn't need her. She's going to be sad. It will break her. She might feel hopeless about the relationship. She might be like, okay, well, he just doesn't like me. He's just not attracted to me. And that's sad. Just sad. But there are women, a certain set of women right now who are going out of their way to, oh, I've gone missing. Oh.
I was going to put the thing up, but I can't do it while you're doing it live. I'll just have to put it up regularly and do it later.
There are a certain type of woman who knows that a man desires her, and a lot of women are not marrying the men that they want to submit to. They're marrying men that they want to become. And then they're trying to control that man to get what they want from that man. So like maybe the man is a certain type of businessman or whatever, and they'll marry that man in the company because they want to be him, and then they'll use the relationship to coerce him into doing whatever they want him to do. Or he's an athlete and they wanted to be the athlete, so they're marrying him so that they can strong arm him and coerce him into all the things that they want him to do.
They
so then
ride his coattails.
Yeah, they want to ride his coattails. And then so they will sleep with the man. They'll know the man genuinely desires her, but she doesn't use him as a stepping stone. She doesn't desire him. She's not attracted to him. She doesn't actually want to have sex with him. Sex feels performative to her because she's literally performing every single time she has sex with a man because she doesn't like him. So he has to coerce her and bribe her into sex every single time because she doesn't actually even like him. She's using him for whatever her plan is. And then she'll gaslight the hell out of him and make him feel like the bad guy and flip it on him so that she can control the relationship because she knows that he desires her, but she doesn't desire him because she doesn't respect him. She doesn't love him. She doesn't honor him. She doesn't want to submit to him. She wants to be in control of the relationship all the time, be the head and whatever else. Wait, you have it ready?
I'm not yet. I'm doing. Oh yeah, it's just loading.
Okay. And sorry, someone said peace of mind is important for both in the relationship. Yes, that's true. But peace of mind can only be obtained for a woman if she decides to submit to a man. A woman cannot have peace of mind while she's trying to take on the role of leadership in the home and trying to be in control. That's not how she's going to obtain peace in the relationship. You cannot have peace if you're trying to do a man's job. The only way that you can have peace in a marriage is if you accept your role the way God has given it to you and the way God has put in the consequence to women in Genesis 3:16, saying that I will multiply thy sorrows greatly. I will greatly multiply thy sorrows. And telling the women that they're going to sorrow in conception, sorrow in giving birth, sorrow in their desire for their husband, and then sorrow for him ruling over her. I'm telling you as a woman, these are the 4 worst sorrows of a woman's life. Nothing makes a woman run from accountability and responsibility more than these 4 things. Conception, giving birth, submitting to a man. Genuine desire for a man is the most sorrow you will ever feel in your life, but also the most intoxicating. And then a man ruling over you, a husband ruling over you, bro. That's all I could really say is bro, because it feels brutal. It feels brutal. But it is also very rewarding and very intoxicating when you actually experience the goodness of it. But the process in it of itself is brutal. And women run from it like the plague. And honestly, women running from that responsibility that God has given them, that sorrow that God has given them, is the same as how men talk about men who are emotional being exceptionally dangerous and predatory and wicked and evil. The emotional men that, you know, they don't, they react to everything, and the men that just, they don't want to work, they want to ride the coattails or whatever of other people, and whatever worst type of man you can think of that's exceptionally weak and doesn't do his role as a man. I don't know what it is. Just as a man, just think about that. You know, I don't. That is the equivalent of women who avoid the sorrow that God has given them in Genesis 3:16. That woman who avoids conception, avoids childbirth, avoids desire for her husband because she has to genuinely feel, experience, and show in action, mind, body, spirit, and speech, desire for her husband, and also him ruling over her. If she doesn't do these things, the worst type of man that you can think of, that he doesn't do his role as a man, that's what that woman is. And this is why women are doing what they're doing. And they are finding every which way to gaslight, manipulate, coerce, and abuse men so that they can get out of doing that. A woman in corporate America, she feels the reason she likes that is because she doesn't have to do any of those four sorrows, and she can still get money, she can still get position, she can get position over men, she can bend men over, she can use her position, her status, her paper, her PhD or whatever degree, and financial bracket or whatever, to bend over her husband in the home and then say, oh, look, I have this paper that told me this at school, which means you have to listen to me because this degree and this status gives me more authority over you and this house, and my money and my name on the title gives me more position and authority over you in this house because my name's on the title and I run this house, not you. The worst thing on this planet, the worst thing on this planet, in my opinion, is a feminist woman. Because you can have a dad that's literally a drug addict, he's not a bad guy, he just does drugs sometimes because he's just managing life, and he will produce a better child than a feminist. He will even produce a better child than people in the church. My dad used to do drugs. He talks about it, that he used to have addiction. And he raised me better than most women that claim to never done anything wrong in their life, better than most people in the church who claim to be God-fearing Christians. And I didn't come to Christ until I was like really in high school, when he decided to come to Christ, because I wasn't serious about it, despite the fact that I was going to my private Christian school and all these other things growing up. Because I was just, my granny was telling me things, my great grandma, and I was like, it's just not making sense. You're talking, but the words are not connecting to the actions. So like, I don't care. And like, I had the foundations of things that was important, and my dad taught me morals and consequences, and I was like, his morals and his consequences make sense, but what you're saying about the Bible don't make sense. And I valued the Bible in the way that he was telling me about things growing up, because he was still agreeing that I should follow certain things. But until he started living it with me in my teenage life, that's when I became very serious about it. Obviously, I was more serious than most people growing up, but it wasn't so much that I was, it was just because of Christianity in itself. It was more because my dad told me not to do things, and then I applied what my dad told me was good for me and what was not good for me to the Bible, so I could independently make sense of the Bible. Because a lot of things the women were telling me, I was like, I don't agree with you, because what my dad has taught me works and it functions in practice. So this is how I'm going to apply it to the Bible, and you're not going to tell me anything else. where people would justify wearing piercings and tattoos and all this other stuff. And my dad was like, no, men don't like that on women. You don't need to do that. If I wanted to show my shoulders, my dad was like, men don't even like seeing women's armpits like that and shoulders out in public. Just keep yourself covered. Like, men like women who are modest. And I was like, okay, well, if that's what I want, if I want a man and the type of man that I want likes that, then I'm just going to do what he says makes sense. And it makes sense. So you're not going to tell me how I'm going to dress or what I'm going to do, because I want my results. I know my dad knows the kind of man that I like, or that kind of man that I'm interested in. And if this is what he's going to like, I'm going to do it. So, because that's the results I want. And he showed me how to, create the circumstances for the results I want in my own actions and my own behavior. But women today, they don't want to submit to that structure. They want to find all the ways that they can deny the four sorrows and bend men over so that they can actually live in tyranny and rebellion. And wait, do we have the video?
Yeah,
I actually should get water.
Something quickly is that even biblically, if they didn't have a husband, they still had to submit to the protection of another man.
Yeah.
So that they could help them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And women, they don't want to submit to the protection of a man, because that means that they are unable to do what men can do. And so they would rather destroy the world to prove their own fallacy that will never be accomplished.
Yeah.
Than to actually take the protection of a man.
Yeah. Fear. Yes, fear. That's what I was saying earlier. Someone said that's true, but unfortunately, I don't like to show too much desire to females without aligning with them. As far as for me, only true women will ever experience my desire. Honestly, if you have a woman that's serious with you and you don't show her desire, you're going to ruin your relationship. You're going to destroy it, because women have to give to men. But if a man doesn't give what a woman needs, eventually you are going to create the circumstances for the destruction in your relationship, because it's like starving her. Like, it's like you not getting sex. Like, a woman needs to feel desire. She needs to feel appreciated. She needs to feel needed. She needs to feel wanted. And if she doesn't feel appreciated, needed, and wanted, someone else is going to come along and make her feel appreciated, needed, and wanted. And it will be your fault if she goes somewhere else, because the Bible says, Paul says this to the people of Corinth when he was, talking to them about a marriage, and he told them that a husband's body is not his own, but his wife's, and a wife's body is not her own, but her husband's. And you need to not withhold, because if you do, except for an agreed period of time where you come together to pray and do, spiritual kind of thing together, then if you withhold, you are going to be the cause for your partner to cheat, because you're going to open the door for the devil to come in. You're opening the door for the devil to weaponize a weakness that you have created in your own marriage. You are starving your partner of their emotional, sexual, spiritual, physical, intimate needs, whatever, in any of the ways that they need them. If you starve them of that, you are creating a weakness and a hole in your marriage or your relationship, whatever, and letting the devil have an open door to reign free and attack your spouse. This is why feminism is so wicked and demonic, because women going and withholding the way that they do in the relationship is causing the man to have the devil to weaponize that against the man and any of his enemies. The woman is declaring war on her own husband and making him an enemy to her in their own home. Like, it's treason in your own home. Like, it's treacherous to do this. Like, it's very bad. It's so bad that the secular world even has to confess, and they write loads about this, about how abusive it is for women to withhold, or any sexual partner, like a man or a woman, to withhold sex or emotional or whatever it is that the partner needs against them. It's hostility. It's literally hostility. Someone said they marry him for the Bentley. Well, that's not enough. That's actually the punishment given to women for not accepting their roles from the beginning of the garden. Yes, it's a punishment, but this is what women avoid. Like the responsibility from Genesis 3:16 is what women avoid the most, and this is why men allowing feminism to go, uh, you're telling, when men allow women to do feminism, to be boss babe and, oh, her body, her choice, and all these other things, they're saying they know better than God what women need to be women and succeed and to have the proper family structure. They're they're giving women power over them and God. They're saying, I'm going to remove you of your God given responsibility and the authority that God has placed you under me and us under him, and putting her above God. That's what men are doing when they do that. And this is why women become so tyrannical and um so crazy in the way that they do things, and so treacherous, because they're like, okay, well, I don't need to be under a man. He let me go out and work for myself and do all these things. I don't need to submit to him. I make my own money. I have my own check and I do whatever I want. Who are you going to tell me? Who are you going to tell me? And then also, I put my name on the house and I've got my name on the title and I've got all these things and I don't need you. I don't need you. Men have to choose. Men have to choose. Do you want the woman who's going to deny her God-given responsibilities, or and take up some of the man's role, or do you just want her to be in the woman role and you be in the man role? And then also, because if she's taking up some of your man role, she's going to be putting active Satan worship in your house, because that's ultimately what it is. Feminism is devil worship, and not all women that do the feminism understand this. That's not their intention. But at the end of the day, you have a decision to make. That's just what it is, because error doesn't sanctify. And even if they don't know, they don't mean it, it's going to cause rebellion and treachery in your home. So you have a decision to make. Um, uh, I feel you. If she's in alignment with God and me, I will show her all the desire she deserves. If not, she gets nada. Well, and you'll have to decipher that. Someone said, one of my fears is building a legacy and always working for my family and be too busy to give my future wife the amount of desire and attention she might need, or it not being enough for her. Your wife will obviously have to understand the circumstances of the situation. Like, if there's a time where you're working, then there's a time where you're working and she just has to swallow it. Unfortunately, men also need to go out of their way to make sure that they are filling the needs of their spouse. And if your spouse, your wife, and your family is a job, and it's the highest job and responsibility that you have. And if you decide that you're going to put it on the back burner, then you're going to suffer the consequences of putting it on the back burner, and you're going to have to be responsible for that. Because it's like a woman saying, well, I just got too caught up with the children and too caught up with the housework to have sex with you. Okay, then she'll suffer the consequences of that, because he'll feel neglected, and maybe when he's away on work one day, he'll cheat on her. Not that he maybe wanted to, but maybe the guy was just, he made a decision and it would be a bad decision, but you create the circumstances for that by starving him of it and deciding to put the husband's sexual needs on the back burner and respecting him on the back burner. And now you're suffering the consequences and you don't like it. Okay, well, should you leave him? No, because it's in part your fault. Now, if you were respecting him and having sex with him and treating him well and, doing everything for the family, cooking and cleaning and, everything for the kids with school, teaching them homeschool, whatever. Say you were doing everything right and he still went out and cheated on you. I mean, man, by all means, I'm sorry. You might gotta go. You might gotta go, like if it's the case where he really is just a serial cheater out here, and you're a Christian family and you don't believe in that, and that was not a part of the agreement of the marriage, then man, you might gotta get up and go. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You might have to try and work it out first, but if he just out here serial cheating on you, man, like, nah. Nah, I can't even think about that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Um and you can't be afraid of that, because you got to know who you pick and you have to trust who you pick. And And you have to sit down and have communication with people and tell them, like, hey, I'm going to be busy for this extended period of time. I'm going to be working for this period of time. And um, here's how we can connect maybe before I go off to work for this extended period of time, so that she has something to hold on to. Like, men need to think about, you can't, you have to realize your house is an empire, literally an empire. You are the king and the queen of your home. And are you going to neglect the king or the queen of your empire, of your kingdom, and allow that when you leave, that some snake in the grass can come and take advantage of the weakness that you left in your kingdom? That's what people need to realize. Like, people think it's not that serious. I promise you it's that serious. I promise you it's that serious. And when you get the consequences, you're just going to realize. I'm going to come into other comments, guys, but I want to play this video. Rebellion is witchcraft. 100% it is. So I had no idea jelly can be found in coconuts, not just water. You learn something new each day. That's very random, but I do know that, and I do love it as well. Coconuts are amazing. Someone said, I would never starve my wife of desire or attention, not even my girlfriend, but I don't show desire to females who aren't mine and who aren't in alignment. Yeah. I'm gonna play this clip for you guys. I'm just gonna play a clip.
This is part 4 of what women wish their male partners knew about how female desire works, and it's all about initiation. So asking your female partner out of the blue if she wants to be intimate will typically be met by resistance. Not because she doesn't want to, but because for her, it feels like she's expected to go from 0 to 100 immediately. It's jarring, it can feel like pressure, and honestly, it skips over all the conditions that her body actually needs to want to be intimate in the first place. Because for 85% of women, desire is responsive, which means she might not know if she's a yes until after she feels safe, connected, relaxed, warmed up. She's not withholding from you. She just genuinely needs some additional support for her body before she's open to saying yes. So instead of trying to change her or taking it personally, work with her to understand what she might need to be more open.
Oh shoot. I'm gonna tell you right now, that woman is a liar. She's lying through her teeth. I'm gonna read you what I said. I'm gonna read you what I wrote, just because it's more succinct, the way I wrote. And then I'm gonna give you opinion. So what I said, it's like, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm telling you right now. No, this woman is lying. A woman's sexual desire for her husband is based on her level of submission to that man spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. If she really respects and loves that man, then she will always be ready, even out of the blue, and she would be happy to receive. If the man a woman loves tells her that he wanted to have sex out of the blue, then she'd be truly cooked, because a woman that loves you is going to want it and be ready for it to happen even at random. They anticipate the very thing itself, and it's more exciting for them too. Women today gaslight and lie so much it's sick. This is being done for control. When women do this, it's because women know the man is attracted and she withdraws sex for control in other ways. A woman who truly respects and loves you will be hurt if you do not proposition her at random or even imply that you want to, because she will think you are getting your desires filled elsewhere. If a man doesn't touch a woman constantly or be all over her, then she will naturally think the man isn't attracted to her and doesn't need her. It will break her. Feminist women will sleep with their boss or coworker at random, proposition, or her just friend, but when it comes to their husband, they withhold for control over him because it's rebellion. Any woman that truly respects and loves you wants you to ravish her at any chance you can get. Women love surprise sex or random sex. It's mental stimulation at the end of the day. Many women want to feel like they are still in the dating or courtship stage, and those random acts make them feel desired. A woman who doesn't want random sex and finds it performative is the woman that's literally performing every time she sleeps with you. She despises you and has no respect for you whatsoever. Withdraw your husbandly duties to her or leave her altogether. Someone said any time is tea time, no comment. Exactly. She's lying. 100% lying, because why is it that if, and I see, and I'm going to use Chris Brown as an example because I see this man on the timeline on X all the time. I don't know why. I feel like at this point, sorry, Chris Brown is like, I'm forced to watch, sorry. I'm being forced to watch his public prostitution the way that many of us are forced to watch OnlyFans girls comment on videos. Sorry. Because it's like every 2 seconds this man is like having sex with someone on stage pretty much, and girls are posting their pregnancy with the guy. Like, they're taking pictures. He said women worship him for some reason. I know. I don't understand it. But the girl is pregnant and she's there pregnant taking pictures with, bro. I was like, this is how women get people killed, man. But it's just crazy the type of photos that you see. These women pay money to go, and this one woman spent all of her rent money and asked people to give her, she has 7,000 friends on Facebook, and said if everyone just sent me $1 or something. I was like, ain't no way, man. But so I use this as an example. Why is it if people see Chris Brown or some other celebrity that they so said some other celebrity that they find attractive, why is it if he propositioned her that she would be more than wet enough to just participate? Why do they not complain about, oh, I need you to get me ready, I need you to, coax me into it? Why is it with their boss, when their boss randomly propositions them, they're more than ready? That friend who's just a friend propositions them that the guy shouldn't have to worry about. Oh, he's just a friend. He propositions her. She's more than ready. And she's always ready. Why is it when, what's it called? When, girls go on the one date with the guy and she's more than ready? Or in the courtship stage with her boyfriend or whatever she wants to call him, she's more than ready. When you were in the dating stage with the guy or whatever, you were always on go. You didn't need any coaxing. You were just on site ready. So what is it really? And women were saying no. They were upset that I said it was about the submission and the respect to the man because it's mental. And psychiatrists or psychologists will say this as well, that sex doesn't begin in the act itself, but it begins in the morning. It begins in the way that you actually think about your spouse and the way that you interact with your spouse. And this is what I said as well. So this is not just biblical knowledge, but there's psychology and science to actually back this up, that the way the woman perceives the man mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and the way she speaks to him verbally will determine her level of desire for him. So a lot of women are like, oh, Kaysha, why do you speak so respectfully and blah, blah, blah? Like, why do you talk to him like that? How should I talk? Should I talk to him like he's one of the girls? Do you think I want to sleep with my girlfriends? Do you want me to talk to him in a way where I want to talk to my girlfriends and then I just won't be attracted? Because I myself am creating the pattern in my mind for him to be below me. That's what women don't want to acknowledge. And this is where I say they're lying, because a lot of their lack of desire for the husband, they're saying that the man needs to make them feel good to enter the act and coax them into it, because they don't respect him anymore. They despise his very being, and they don't love him either. And they're disgusted by the idea of having to do this performative act. And every time they do have sex with him, they don't see it as a bonding opportunity with the man. They're like, I'm performing for him, because if I don't perform for him in this way, then I'm not going to get what I want. Like, they are doing an exchange of services. Ultimately, It's like prostitution. And at that point, if I was the man, I don't know, I'm not a man, but if I was in that situation, I would feel disgusting, like a predator. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because it's like I'm trying to sleep with someone who's consistently telling me they don't want to sleep with me. Then every time I ask, you're also asking me to coax you into sleeping with me emotionally. That's a very predatory transaction. You're asking me to push you, to manipulate you emotionally, to have sex with me. You're asking me to be a predator, bro. Like, at that point, I'd be like, I'm leaving. I'm removing my husbandly duties, or I'm leaving you, because I'm not going to have you sit here and tell me. And that's probably why a lot of men's confidence, and I'm not a man, but it's why probably a lot of men's confidence really plummets, and they don't any longer have any clue how to approach their wife sexually, and they try to beg them or whatever, because the women are putting them in the position to do an action that's very actually unnatural for a man to do. If a man came to a woman on the street and approached her that way, or a man that was not her husband approached her in that way and tried to coax her into sex, he would go to jail. Full stop, straight up and down. She's asking him to do something that's so mentally disturbing, because now she's like, okay, I'm in full control. If I can get you to try and coax me into having sex with you, even in this act of having sex with you, I'm still in full control, and you are bending to my will, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then I'm going to keep withholding and break you down more, and then you're just going to do whatever I say in between, because you have to come back to me at some point. And if you don't, if you go cheat, then I'm just going to punish you. That's what these feminist women are doing. And that's mad. That's mad. Because if a woman actually wants you, if she actually desires you, she's cooked. Because as soon as he propositions her, she's probably cooked. Like, as much, like, you should, and that's not even a bad thing. It's not even a bad thing, because you should feel genuine desire for the person that you love. If you are thinking to yourself, yes, you can have discipline. I'm a very disciplined person. I'm not going to put myself in the position to do something reckless. I still have the understanding, though, that if I was in the position with someone that I love and care for to do something, would I make it? Probably not. Definitely not. Because if you love somebody and you're in the position to do something like that, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. You want to do it because you love that person. You respect that person. You admire that person. Women are like that when they genuinely love you. And it's not a lot of women hide behind Christianity too, acting like they don't have desire. Now, for most of my life, I did not ever have desire, really. Like, I was just not, I was not that kind of person. But I wasn't feeling for anybody, really. Like, so that's a whole different thing. And a lot of women are going through the world numb, but they don't love those people if they're going through the world numb. If you're in the situation where you're going through the world unfeeling and numb, you do not love that man. You are going to abuse that man, and you should never marry somebody that you don't love. You should never marry someone that you can't feel passion for, that you can't feel desire for, because women, when they want you all the time. And there's, like, yes, there are times when people get tired, and that's fine. There's times when people are overworked from, kids or work or whatever else. That's fine. That doesn't mean that you still don't have the desire to bond with the person that you love. I'm just going to I'm gonna tell you, when women love you, like I said, you could be a very disciplined person, and I'm a very disciplined person. But if you love somebody, you might say something, and then when you say it, You might not think about it in the moment, but later you'll look back at what you said and you'll be like, oh, I said that. I said that, and that actually demonstrates something else. And I didn't think of it then, but now I'm thinking of it now. And you subconsciously slip your desire in places out of excitement or out of just the excitement of the potential of bonding in that way. Your desire slips to the person, because that's not something that women can contain. Women cannot contain their emotions like that. Not when they genuinely love you. A woman that respects you and loves you is, even in their most disciplined state, is going to spill verbally and in her actions her desire for you, because she wants to sleep with you. Not that she wants to disrespect the relationship, not that she wants to disrespect God, not that she wants to disrespect you. It's a natural tendency, because humans that love another human is going to demonstrate their desire. A woman who withholds from you literally despises you. She's your enemy. 100. She's your enemy. You got to leave, man. I'm sorry. You got to leave. You got to go. You just got to go. Someone said a woman will drive from LA to Chicago for Chris Brown. That's mental. That's mental for real. Oh, that's mental. Oh, that's mental. She's driving cross country, coast to coast. No. That's insanity. This is why I'm saying, this is why you can't convince me. You can't convince me. A man, if you really love a man, it doesn't matter what time of day. It doesn't matter, especially if the man works and he's busy and he comes back. If a man who's constantly touching you and then one day he's just not, you're going to be like, wait a second, you passed by me and you didn't even touch me or anything. That's weird. Did you touch someone else today? Have you talked to someone else today? You're just going to start wondering, okay, do you not need me anymore? Am I not cute? Did you not see me? Am I not cute today? And then women will be like, what the heck? And they're going to want to touch you more. And it's not that men should go out and do that, because you don't want to create insecurities in your relationship, because then again, someone will come in and take advantage of that insecurity, and that will be your fault too. The fact of the matter is, it's just a woman will always want to connect with her spouse if she genuinely cares about him, and she'll be waiting for that opportunity. And it could be at random moments. It could, in the kitchen, randomly, or, whatever you guys do in your house, I don't know, just random moments, you guys chilling, watching a movie, or, in the middle of the night. I see people talk about this on Twitter, whatever else. So it's just, you can wake your spouse up in the middle of the night for these things. And, people talk about those things too. So it's and that's a normal thing. That's a normal thing. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm too tired. No, that's just not how that works. That's just not how that works. And, the reason that this is particularly frustrating is because it's women are gaslighting like crazy. And what was mad to me, this was what I was talking about at the beginning of the stream here, what's mad to me is the fact that men know this. Men actually know this already. Women are just lying and thinking they're getting away with it lying, because they think because they're saying it is true. But the men in the comments are like, we've been experiencing this for years. Thank you for saying this. And, oh, thank you for finally coming out and talking about this. And it's just I was like, what? They're just this is my life. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's not funny. I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at the fact that women really don't realize how much they expose when they say things or when they do things, and men just deal with it because they love their family and they don't want to break up their family, and they're like, oh, I'll just try to work on it. And they know what the woman is doing and her intention, but she just doesn't confess, and she keeps gaslighting him. And that's heavy provocation, man. Imagine if a man was If a man was doing that to a woman, they'd find a way to jail him. I promise you. I promise you. Someone said, I know a woman who did that and her car started having problems. Wait. I didn't read the above thing, maybe. If you read Samuel, you would understand how Hannah prayed for her child before she conceived Samuel. Hannah created a covenant with God before she had her son while with her husband. I know a woman who did that and her car started having problems on the way, but she ignored it for Chris. Nah, man. That's crazy. Women won't even won't piss upon cotton for men that actually devote their lives to them, and they're out here driving cross country, damaging their car, taking pregnancy photos with man. I couldn't believe it, man. Me and my dad just laugh. I'm sorry, man. Someone said morning glory. What's morning glory mean? What is that? I like your background. Are you interested in astronomy or you just like it for decoration? I like the galaxy. I like science and stuff like that. My dad actually picked this background and I thought it was pretty dope, so like we just leave it. I don't know why he said astronomy. I read it first as astrology and I'm like, nah, man. If you love someone, you look at what you genuinely did for that person. While you're caring for that person, you tend to share your truth and you accept the best form of one another. Wait. Yeah, if you love someone, you look at what you genuinely did for that person. Yeah. While you're caring for that person, you tend to share your truth and you accept the best form of it one another. I wouldn't say your truth because like that's Me Too movement terminology and I don't like that. Your truth, my truth. But yes, when while you're caring for a person, they tend to slip the truth in general of who they are and what's going on, because in the beginning you're going to try and be a perfect person, I guess you can say. Most people try to be, and people do false promises and all sorts of stuff. But ultimately, you're going to show who you are from the jump. Like, I think that if you really pay attention, you'll notice a consistent pattern of behavior from the jump of who someone is and who they're likely to be. And that stays very consistent. It just ends up keep showing itself more and more. And you should be, a certain way enough that you can recognize certain things from the beginning. But again, it doesn't mean that they're flaws or whatever else. It's just like, if you like someone, you're going to like them the way that they are, and you're going to look at what the action does versus what it doesn't do, and how that can be, used for whatever your guys' mission is together, and how you can get the best out of the situation together with what you guys have, the skills that you guys have. And then you accept each other that way. But yeah, for sure, you see the truth of who someone is when you interact with them. Like, that's just going to be a given. Someone said it's morning slang for okay, I've learned something new today. I had no idea. I've never heard that terminology before. The more you know. That's very interesting. Someone said, I'd like to meet your dad one day. He seems cool and we have similar mindset. That's cool. Yeah. A lot of men that come on here, they really actually appreciate my dad's commentary in the back. He's not in here right now. I think he's going to eat something, but yeah, he's very cool. He has a lot of great perspective and things to say. Is very important. Yeah, you should follow him on his page. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can actually see his page. I know I'm still drinking the sugar, but be in a process, okay? You guys can ask some questions. I'm probably gonna shut this down pretty soon. But you can ask some questions in the meantime. But I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I think that a lot of, like the one person said earlier, that they do a lot of self-sabotage, and there's a lot of things that people do that is that self-sabotage. And for women in particular, it's the self-sabotage is trying to be like independent in a way where they're picking up things where men are supposed to do instead of doing women things. And they'll have a man come along that wants to do man things, and they won't let them do the man things because maybe they're just so used to something, or maybe they didn't have a father to teach them or show them. And they make life more difficult for themselves in that way, and then ruin the relationship because they just don't let the man do what he needs to do. And they try to run the house. And you know, like I said earlier, it's difficult because women don't realize how insufferable they can be, like, and how important peace is. And it's like they might fight you all day every day, and no one should live in an environment um where where it's like it feels like the only thing keeping that woman from happiness is you. That is the worst life you can ever live. And a lot of women and children, a lot of boys and girls are raised by single women who don't have a man around to help them, don't have a father that they can lean on for help when they've been abandoned by a man or left him or ran the man away, whatever. And they will raise the children with loads of insecurities and loads of attitude and loads of emotional and mental or circumstantial problems, because they are treating those children and all the men around them like the only thing keeping them from happiness is the children, is the man, is the, like, everything except themselves is keeping themselves from happiness. And it's like because they want to control everything around them, and it's a very tyrannical way to live. And again, what they don't know is what they don't know, but the consequences are there, and the consequences are the same to the people that they're doing it to. You can have compassion and you can have empathy and even pity, if you want to put it that way, women in situations like that, because it's like, if you don't know, how are you going to know? But if a man comes along and he tries his best to show you, and he gives you an opportunity to show you, and you don't let him, then you have to just take accountability at that point. Because it's like there are people who don't even get the opportunity to have a man that's going to come along and teach them these things and show them these things. It's like you need to be open-minded and you need to choose to learn. And it's going to feel hard sometimes, it's going to be embarrassing sometimes, it's going to feel risky and scary. But man, if you weigh the risk of what your other options are, it's not pretty. You might as well just take the risk and dive headfirst into whatever that man is leading you to, because it will not ever be as bad as what you were trying to lead yourself to. Like, I promise you. Someone said, would you say there's similarities between Canada and Hawaii? I don't know. I've never been Hawaii. Never been Hawaii a day in my life. Couldn't tell you the first thing about Hawaii or Hawaii. I don't know how they say it. I'm sorry to all the Hawaiians out there. All I know is Hawaiian pizza, and it has pineapples and pork, and I don't eat pork, so I never ate Hawaiian pizza. And it doesn't look any good anyways. Like, I do like pineapple pizza, though. I know people don't like that. If I do eat pizza, it's pineapple or cheese. Someone said, a woman who does not maintain peace in her home inherits the wind. Like, she's always moving in the wind? Like, she's kind of just going with the wind? Like, what do you mean fully? Yeah, aloha. That's, I mean, Lilo and Stitch. That's all I know about Hawaii. And it's, it's artificial, or it's not artificial, like it's fake. Um, wait a second. Yeah, a lot of, and wait. And when you think about it as well, if you think of like work, like going to a job, you're taking a risk on an employer that you don't know, that you've never known. It's so weird to me, man. Like if I think about this, like if I really think about this, it's so weird because if you take a risk on you don't want to take a risk on a man because you're like, oh, like if I trust him to run my money, um and I don't know how he's gonna, use the money, but if he, tries to use the money to like help me because I don't know anything about money, I'm not gonna trust him with that. I don't want to trust him in like his business or helping him with his business because what if he throws me to the side or whatever else? I don't want to trust him with my life or, advice because what if he screws me? You're going to a random employer, you're picking a random job, assuming that it's a good job. You're picking a job, you don't even know if the neighborhood is, what's going on in the neighborhood. You don't even know if the neighborhood's good. Most women just pick a job and they're like, let's see if I get hired. Most women don't investigate the local neighborhoods, the crime in the area, the circumstances of that neighborhood, and whatever else. Sometimes they'll get a job in certain neighborhoods because it's a more high-end neighborhood and they're like, I'll probably make more money in this neighborhood at this job, waitressing or something, because people will give more tips. Or but outside of that, they're not really looking at anything else. So you're going to this random job, this random area, in this random career field, whether it's retail, whether it's waitressing, whether it's a doctor's office, a secretary, whether cleaning teeth, whatever you do, I don't know, don't care. And you don't know the area, you don't know the people you're working for. They don't care about you. They're not even trying to care about you. They don't care about your day. They only ask you about your day so you'll keep coming to work. And then you're like working for this guy and putting more money in his pocket and trusting him to redistribute fairly the money to you, but he doesn't redistribute the money fairly to you because he's screwing you over so that he can have more money in his pocket. So the monetary value you bring to the company, you're not even getting that back. You're only getting a portion of the monetary value that you're bringing to, or the economic value or whatever that you're bringing to, or the financial value, I guess, you're bringing to the company. You're not actually getting what you're putting in. It's like, why take the risk on that, but not take a risk on the man? Why not trust the man? And then you're trusting your employer as if he's your husband or God, and whatever the employer says goes. It's like, just trust the man. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? You can get fired from your man. Okay, he fires you. Okay, you live and you learn. You try again. I mean, you might not try again. I don't know. It depends. Because if you get fired from like the one and only, you just might be cooked. That might end you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But that's why you just have to do your best. That's why you just have to keep trying. But you'll put out for your job and bend over literally backwards for your job, but not for your man. Like that's crazy. The way that the sacrifices and the diabolical things that women will do for corporate America or for anybody other than a man, it, like, even the whole conversation about like the bikinis I saw the other day. So I say you're fired. Yeah, that would be crazy, man. That would, oh god. Anyway, I saw the conversation with the bikinis the other day, and I was talking to him before and said like, "Oh, do you wear bikinis?" I was like, "No, I don't." They're like, oh, why? I was like, oh, because, well, if I wanted to be in a room half naked with a man, then I would just have sex with him. Like, I wouldn't be on the beach. I would just have sex with him. Like, that in my mind, that's the only logical reason. I'm not going to go and tempt myself at the beach half naked with the guy. I'm just going to go to his place and be like, okay, I'm a very direct and straightforward person. I'm always just been that way. I'm not going to proposition someone like that, but I'm saying that the logic behind it seems manipulative. You see what I'm saying? This is the problem for me. Like, with going in bikinis in public, it's a form of like sexual temptation and manipulation, because it's a way to be sexual with someone that you want to be sexual with. So you're getting away with being sexual, but you're doing it publicly in front of other people. And this is why, like, it seems like a roundabout way to have sex with someone. And at that point, in my mind, I'm like, skip all the nonsense, just have sex with them. That makes sense to me. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it's like, if you're gonna put yourself in a position, that's a sin already. This might be a bad mentality, but I think if you're gonna sin all the way. Don't half-ass it. I would be exceptionally pissed off if I genuinely liked somebody and I just went and put myself in a situation where I get to be around them. And to be honest, most people that go swimming together, you're all on each other, you're kissing, you're sitting on each other like at the beach, you're in the water holding each other. Don't tell me, you cannot tell me you're not gonna want something if you don't like that person. Because why? Especially if you're in a dating stage and you're not married to this person, you're not having sex with this person, you're riding it out, just raw dogging life, just riding it out, and not being able to, you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to be tempted to sin. At that point, just go all the way. That's my opinion. It makes sense to me. And then on top of it, it's diabolical, because not only you're doing that together at this public pool or public beach, you are half naked in front of everyone, because you are putting on the bikini, because you want to show him, well, look, I do have that nice body. Just send him a bikini picture. It would be better for you to send him a picture in lingerie or a bikini and just privately send it to him and slip. I'm doing the logistics now. I'm just doing the logistics. It would be better for you to send him a dirty photo than for you to go in a skimpy bikini with him to the beach and be riding it out with him like the whole day, just doing whatever you guys are doing, kissing on each other, laying together at the beach, and like going on each other's back or whatever else, and like sitting on each other or whatever. That is a very like, it's a manipulating kind of situation. It's a manipulating circumstance. And it's not that people, it's a form of manipulation. And I'm not saying that the people don't agree to it, because they're mutually doing it. And they're trying to find a way to mutually consent to doing something that's technically not allowed. Christians, they do this all the time. I don't know about you worldly people. Whatever you want to believe, whatever you want to believe. But the facts are the facts. Don't shoot the messenger. Because ultimately, that's what people are doing too. Because a lot of people, even still, they don't believe in sex before marriage. And it's like they use all these roundabout ways to get sexually close to somebody. And then it's like, at that point, just tell the person you want to have sex with them. Like, just be honest at that point. Just, what's the difference? There's no difference. There's literally no difference. And then at that point, just send them the dirty photos. Don't go out in public in a bikini and show the world what you have and what your man has, or put him in a circumstance where that's the only place that he's going to see you half naked, is if the entire world can also see you half naked. And a lot of girls, it's like you can see almost everything now. You can see the whole outline of what they got and what they don't got, and their whole chest and everything. So it's like at that point, just show him. I mean, like, if you're gonna go there, just go there. Like, do it with your chest, I guess is what I'm saying, because it's giving coward, you know, like I don't I don't know, like it's very much giving cowardice. You know, you want to find a roundabout way of telling someone you want to sleep with them. Just do it. Like, and I'm not promoting sex before marriage. I'm saying that if you were going to do that, it would be entirely better to just privately bleed or burn on that person and send them the photos, or just sleep with them, because the public declaration of what's being done there and the public exposure of what's being done there is wholly worse. I think that's wholly worse. And then also people are seeing the way that that man is intimate with you. What if someone at the beach or the pool knew you? And then sometimes they post these things online too. What if he had an op? An op was there, or an op saw the thing that you put online, is like, oh, so that's how she likes it, huh? And then when he's not around, comes to the girl some kind of way, trying to give her what she likes. Men do this, you know. Women do this too, you know. So it's like, why are you showing that level of intimacy publicly and your body publicly in a way that, you know, shouldn't be done? I don't go swimming. I don't swim. I can swim. Not a strong swimmer. I can swim. I can splash and move. I can splash and move. Yeah. I can splash and move, but I don't swim publicly. I don't really swim at all. I think the last time I went out of my way personally to go swimming was probably at college, when I had to take a swimming course in my first year. And I was at a Christian school, so we weren't wearing bikinis. You're not allowed to wear bikinis. So it's like a Christian university. So yeah, you're not allowed to wear bikinis. So it's like I don't see the point in swimming. I don't see why women online are arguing that you should be, oh, you shouldn't post a bikini photo online, but you can go in public and in the bikini. Do you know how many perverts are in public? Do you have any idea how many weirdos go to the beach? It's like, they can take videos of you, they can take pictures of you and post it online. People do it all the time. People see something happen online and they'll record people and post it online. It'll get millions of views, and then the person just all of a sudden is famous, and then they see themselves online. They're like, oh shoot, I'm going viral. It used to be, oh, world star, and now it's just a random Tuesday on Twitter. Well, X, formerly known as Twitter. It's like, so is it better to show the world? What's worse? Showing the world your body and what your man has, or just having sex with your man, or just sending your man the photo? What's worse? If you were going to commit a sin, what's worse? I mean, all sins are technically, I guess, you know, equal if you want to look at the consequences of sin being death. Again, I'm not justifying either of those behaviors. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's no justification for wearing bikinis to the beach or to the pool. Just don't. Like, why do you want to show off your body at the pool and also in front of kids? That's something that doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, in no other circumstance would you want a grown adult to be that exposed in front of your face or in front of the face of children. And in fact, not too many years ago, I think probably even 50 years ago, women would get fined for wearing bikinis on the beach. Not even inappropriate bikinis, the ones where it was like a crop top and Daisy Duke bottoms or whatever, where they were the high-waisted bottoms and they were kind of like panties, what we consider granny panties. And they would get fined for wearing that on the beach. I think up to 50 years ago even. So it's like, Be so for real, because it was public indecency and because there was children around. So if you have women with their butt out and you can see the line of their vagina and all sorts of other things, I'm not sure if I can say that on Twitter or on YouTube, whatever. If you can see the outline of everything that they've got and what they don't got, some of these women are wearing translucent stuff. You can see their nipples and all sorts of things. I've seen some crazy people wear some crazy things to the beach. How are you going to complain about the trans people wearing similar indecent things in front of your children? Let's be so for real. Let's be so for real. Part of the reason why a lot of these trans people get away with doing a lot of this stuff is because women were doing it first. Because they let the women do it. And if public indecency was not okay for women, a lot of people would not get away. A lot of these trans people would not be getting away with a lot of this stuff that they're doing. Loads of the stuff they're doing. Trans people wouldn't be out here like Decepticons, literally getting away with deceiving people if women didn't wear so much makeup. Because as soon as men saw women with loads of makeup, they would just be like, that's a man. It's just what it is. Someone said, earlier you mentioned your dad knows your type to vet a man. What is your type exactly, or the type of man that fits with? I'm curious to know because I value women with your mindset opinion. No, I said my dad vets any man that comes to talk to me in general. Like, obviously, my dad's going to understand what kind of person I'm going to more go towards, but he vets any man that comes to talk to me. Like, there's no continuance if my dad doesn't vet the individual. So it's just like, that's what it is. Yeah. Someone said less performative, or your boss is at the beach and likes what's been advertised. I was trained to swim at 6 to 12 years, but there has been like 9 years since I swam. But I low-key swam in the shower last morning. Swam in the shower? How do you swim in the shower, bro? Did you almost drown? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know. Like, if I had a pool in my backyard or something, then maybe. But even still, I probably wouldn't have a pool in my backyard if I had neighbors, because I would never want to be... I just don't like people seeing me. It has nothing to do with I like my body or not, because I know I would look good in a bikini. I know I probably would, because I just have like a decent enough body that would look good with something that fits your body that way. I just don't see the point in the gratification in going half naked outside. And the women who justify that to me are weird. It's like, and then can you really judge the women who go half naked online and make money? You're doing it for free. They're collecting dime. They're low-key smarter than you. You're just doing it for free. They're collecting money. Like, you're not. And this is why it comes full circle to what I said at the beginning. There are only a few degrees of separation and certain distinguishability between me and women who are prosies, 304s, drug addicts, alcoholics, and other things. And it's my father and my father who gave me the foundation, and a man who's just building on it, just building miraculous things that I just never knew could be built. I used to tell girls in university, man, when they found out one of the girls was a prostitute, I'm like, you're giving it away for free. She's getting paid. There's no difference between you. Like, you're not going to come at me telling me that I shouldn't talk to this girl anymore because you've decided to flip the switch on her because she's being a paid prostitute and you're giving it away for free. There's no difference between you. You are both prostitutes. You're just a stupid prostitute because she's getting paid. Like, you're prostituting with men that don't want you. She's prostituting with men that don't want her, but she's getting a return on her investment. I'm not agreeing with it. Just because I understand it doesn't mean I agree, and I don't agree, or else I would be doing it. But this is the point. Women need to understand that the only certain distinguishability between them and another woman who's in a jacked up situation is the man that they're leaning on. And most of these women who go out and do these things are leaning on exceptionally weak men. And I say some things. I did. Wait. I did share. Did I share my dad's page? I did. If you scrolled in the comments, but I'll share it to you again. Check the comment now. This is why I said with women, it's better to just be direct and submit. Like, submitting to a man is not always like, oh, you have to do everything he says. No, you have to submit your desires and your emotions and your thoughts to him too, because you're giving him the opportunity to solve the issue. Sometimes I'll say things and I'm like, oh, I said that and I meant this, but in saying that, I realize that this also means this. So then I have to go back and be like, okay, well, I actually didn't think about how I'm going to do that in practice, which means I actually done a mistake. But it's okay, because that shows the person that you actually care about them. You're showing emotional vulnerability because you love that person, and that's coming through, and that needs to happen, because you can't be a robot. You can't be on duty all the time and do things out of duty, and you don't. If you genuinely love someone, you don't. But it's authentic. You authentically show that you are bleeding or burning in the direction of the person that you love, and you actually genuinely care for them. So you're going to have those moments of slip. But if you don't, you're going to go try finding solutions to other things, and you're going to go do whatever you want to do because you think that that's the solution. And women will go and try and get men to do all these different things because they're like, oh, this is the answer. This is the solution. And that's not the solution. That's going to get you in trouble. You just need to let him guide you on whatever that thing will be, because you're doing these roundabout things when you should just go to the source. Like, that's just what it is. You have to just stop doing things in a roundabout way and just go to the source. And that's why you'll self-soothe with things like sugar or alcohol or drugs or sex or, emotional cheating or cigarettes or, whatever your fix is. I don't know. That's why. I'm not saying that people should do a wrong thing. I'm just saying, if you weigh the consequences of what you're going to do yourself versus giving it to the man and letting him decide what to do with it, you will probably 9 times out of 10, because you have to, calculate for humans being humans. 9 times out of 10, you'll get a better result burning in the direction of the man that you love or the man that you care for, that you think is going to be a help to you, that you obviously are with him because you trust him. You're going to get a way better result. You're going to feel better. You're going to improve than if you go trying to do a bunch of nonsense. You said your pause after that statement said it all. My pause after what statement? Which statement? When did I pause? That's diabolical. When did I pause? Don't say that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's interesting to me. Yeah. Wait, let me see. Why is it you guys never ask questions on Rumble? It's literally always on... The questions are literally always on IG. I never have them on Twitter neither. Sorry. Diabolical. Guys, ask a few more questions. Ask a few more questions and then wait. I can't even fully see, but I have this here. Ask a few more questions and then I think when my dad comes back down, then I'll cut the stream. He's probably gonna be back down in a couple minutes. Do you learn karate? I don't see the point. I don't see the point. I don't know, what would I need karate for? I don't think it's in a woman's best interest to ever use violence to save herself. I think as soon as a woman engages in violence to save herself, then she's cooked herself, because by the time you take physical action, the man who's put you in that circumstance probably understands that it's your natural inclination, and he's probably trying to use it against you to set you up for something. That I've seen men do that. I've seen men put women in a situation where they know they're going to respond physically, and they do it so they'll respond physically to set them up. And it happens even when people think that the attack is random, and it's not a random attack. It's someone that's been watching them, and they know their natural inclination. Like they've stalked them and studied them enough to know. So it's like I think respect is the best chance that she has. Respect and leaning on the men that she has in her life, you know, like your father, your husband, your future husband, whatever. Someone said, I'm curious to your type for some odd reason. I don't think it's necessary to talk about, but people ask me this all the time. I actually don't understand why. But the person who is my type knows that he's my type. So that's all that matters. I know you said, I think that's correct grammar. I feel for some reason that I said that grammatically incorrect. I know you said you like daisies, but what is the most pleasant flower you have smelt? I used to hate flowers. I'm going to be very honest with you. And it has nothing to do with the smell of flowers. I just used to hate flowers. I don't know. I thought that they were cliche and that they were I just hated gifts, because I see gifts as manipulation, and a lot of times gifts are manipulation. Guy said good answer. What's true? Like the person you love is your type. Like he knows he's my type. Yeah, I used to hate flowers because I see gifts as manipulation, and a lot of times it's a lot of times people will give gifts because they want to sleep with you. And that's what my dad told me as a man, so I trust him. And my granny said that her father told her the same thing. And obviously he died before I was born, but his wife, my great grandmother, told me the same thing, and that was her husband that, you know, taught my granny that. So it's like, and they grew up in the West Indies. And she died when she was 95. She was born in 1920. So if they were talking that back then in the West Indies and the Caribbean, and my dad said the same thing now when I was growing up, I was like, okay, well, it must be a man thing. It must be the way men think and do things. So I'm like, okay, well, this is a consistent pattern. So I'm just not going to take any gifts from men. So unless, you know, they've been vetted from my dad and it's a very serious relationship, and that's a different thing, because then I can trust that that person has my best interest and they're not doing something just because they want to screw me, literally and metaphorically screw me, but because they want the best for me and they want to bond with me or share a nice experience. That's different, you know, that's a wholly different. But for that reason, a lot, I hated flowers. And my grandmother was so obsessed with flowers growing up. She had her flower garden, and yeah, that looked nice, but I hated it because she was just like, I don't know. it just seemed so like mushy to me. And I was just like in the mentality of like, it's too cold for you here. Something like that. I just felt like I was way too cold of a person to appreciate flowers or something. I was not a very romantic person at all. I didn't think. Um and it just seemed like a very like, Valentine's Day, very cliche, very like fake. It seemed so fake, just giving flowers. It really disgusted me. I don't like, I don't know. So is it your Vegeta tendencies kicked in? I don't know. Like it for a long time I was just disgusted by flowers. And I actually liked flowers better when they were dead. I don't know. Like I just liked watching flowers die. And probably part of me probably might still be like that because I think there's beauty in watching life end. Not in the not in not in the way that that sounds, but I think you appreciate the beauty of something by watching the extent of its life. And then even in the end of its life, there's beauty because you can appreciate every stage and the end of it as a as a as a as a result of that. And I think I found more beauty in the end of the life of flowers because I was like, you just see a different aspect of nature in when it comes near its end. Like for example, fall is my favorite time of year, and not spring. I was born in the spring, but not summer or spring or whatever, but fall, because in the death of all the nature, that's really what fall is the death of nature in a sense. And nature comes back to life in spring, and then it really blossoms in summer. But I don't think that's the most beautiful part of it, because you have the weather is more even in fall, the colors are more vibrant and well distributed in fall, and everything is more even keel, I guess, in fall. And it just seems like you can appreciate all of what the other things were, the moments that you had from, winter, spring, summer, when you have fall, because it's a reminder of every stage of those things in and of itself. And um it's very beautiful to me. Fall is like a very beautiful time of year. It's very calm. It reminds me of my disposition naturally, just very calm and relaxed and peaceful, just quiet, just no noise, but like the bustle of the leaves falling and swishing on like on the floor or whatever, however you want to say the sound is. And yeah, it's just different. And I like that. So something about nature, the end of the life of nature, that is just really beautiful to me. And I don't know, I think that in general, people use flowers and gifts as a very manipulative thing. I used to feel that way. I really used to feel that way. So daisies were my favorite flower as a form of rebellion, probably. I think actually, when I really think about it, because daisies can grow, I think, almost like anywhere. Like they're very basic and very simple. And I would say all the time that said RIP to the plants in the fall. Yeah. Um but daisies grow like almost anywhere, and they're very beautiful to me because they're simple. And I thought that roses or other flowers were very, extravagant and extra. And it's like, why are these girls just so obsessed with roses and all these others? It's just stupid. And there's nothing special about them. Like, why do you, I just thought girls were being bougie for no reason. And it's like, girls, you say, what's your favorite flower? And she'd be like, roses. And then I'd be like, you're so dumb. You make me cringe. Like, and now I'm that, stupid girl. But 7 degrees of separation. But, I just thought that daisies, because they were simple and nobody liked them. You would never ask a girl what her favorite flower was, and it was daisies. And I hated If someone liked something, I didn't like it. I was like that hipster kind of grunge kid where it's like I did not like what other people liked. If everyone liked a person, I didn't want to like them, because I'm like, well, why do you all like them? Is this a group think kind of thing? Are you telling me that I need to like this individual because everybody likes them? I will decide for myself. And then if everyone hated someone, I'm like, I'm going to investigate for myself and decide if I like that person. And 9 times out of 10, actually, a lot of times I did like that person, because I'm like, oh, this person's cool. You guys are actually just a jerk to this individual for no reason. It's like unjust persecution. So daisies were kind of like that rebellion for me. And I used to routinely say, and if you don't love me as I do you, then I understand. Because who really would choose a daisy in a field of roses? And it's not that I really, no, I think I actually felt that. No, I think I actually did feel that in some capacity, because I felt just that I was so different in a lot of ways, and I enjoyed being different. I very much enjoyed being different. But I just felt like I enjoy being different the way a daisy is, but nobody picks a daisy. Nobody likes a daisy. So I felt to myself, okay, well, daisies are very standoffish and very on their own. They're very standalone, and everybody chooses the rose, and I'll never be the rose. But that's okay. I like to be the daisy, and I would pick myself the daisy. But I've come to find, actually, that it is okay to like roses, and now I very much love them. I think roses are now my favorite flower. And then I came to the realization, okay, that a lot of times women don't like flowers is because they don't like the person that presents flowers to them, or they have a strong dissatisfaction based on their experience with individuals with flowers or whatever. And maybe you don't like the man who gave you flowers, so now you hate them. But now I love roses. I think roses for sure would be my favorite if I were to say, because the person that presents it to you makes something special. And then I think if you really love and care for someone and they present something to you, that will always be your favorite, because that person is your favorite. And that thing is a constant reminder of who that person is. So it's like, that's also funny, because it's like if a girl, she loves roses, someone introduces roses to her and then she loves them by extension to the man. If she goes to another man and he says, "What's your favorite flower?" and she says roses, it's like, uh, can you really still love roses if a guy leaves you and then another guy comes along? How would that man feel that he's giving you roses? And every time he gives you roses, wouldn't it be a reminder of the man that you love that introduced you to roses? That guy said exactly. Because I think this is why guys are violated by first time experiences. And I think that's kind of why for a certain degree, like, I'm glad that I was really numb to the world for so long and very cold. Like cold in the way where I shut myself off of like connection from other people, or like I didn't know how. Like, I was very empathetic to other people and their circumstances, and I hated injustice, and that was fine because I always try to help people who were suffering, because like I hate suffering. But like for myself, I was very shut off, and to a degree I'm very happy about that. I'm very glad that I was reserved that way, because now I'm having loads of first time experiences that I cannot apply to literally anyone else. And the first time experiences that I'm having is like creating such a different. I understand why guys are so concerned about women having first time experiences, because although there's some experiences that I've had first time with, it almost like, because I was so closed off emotionally and like mentally, it really is like I've not had first time experiences for like a lot of things, just to be honest. So and I think there's a lot of women walking around that way, thinking that they've had first time experiences and they really have not. And until they actually have first time experiences, they're not gonna, it's just gonna hit different. And that's why it's so devastating, I think, if you truly come to care about somebody, to love or care, respect, and admire somebody, and you're having these first time experiences, and and the person just like walks away. And then imagine now every time you have that experience after, if you try to have that experience after, it will be like death almost all over again. And I think that's why God hates divorce, and God says in the Bible, what God has put together, let no man asunder, because you're becoming one flesh with someone, and you've had all these first experiences with someone, when it's a genuine marriage and a genuine love, because that, it's like every experience that you had with that person that was genuine and loving, and like you're one flesh with that person, like if you try to go and do that with someone else, you're always going to be reminded of what you done with the person that showed you the first experience that you love, and that it's going to be like living a death all over again. And that's going to be so sad. Like so, okay, I didn't read the comments, guys. Sorry, let me go back and read these. Someone said, I know. Wait, if a burglar entered our house and I was at work, my wife, as a last resort, should be able to fight. I'm sorry, but if a burglar entered your house, your wife should not try to put her hands on the burglar. Like at that point, if he's close enough, she should, for one, if she's at the point, it's like, okay, you might as well try to shoot the person if you have a gun. Like, if she tries to physically fight a man, she's not going to win. Like, yes, there are men that are weaker than some women, but if you put the best woman against the best man, I'm sorry, you have no chance. And just because there are the exceptions where some men are weak and women have the ability to overthrow them just because they're weak, or they didn't get the, they did not win the genetic lottery, does not mean that in her mind that she should think that if a burglar enters her house that she has a fighting chance. Like, she has a better chance running away. A woman has a bet, unless the guy has a gun, in which case you're cooked. You're not running away. I'm telling you right now, like, as someone who's been in so many different situations of genuine danger and violence, like on the street and other places, like, your best chance is respect, man, and calling the police. Like, that's what I always done. Like, I would put my dad on the phone on FaceTime sometimes and be like, Dad, this person is saying something to me I don't understand. Please, just, I don't know. I would just put the phone in people's face, and my dad would start explaining circumstances to people, and they would go away. And I was just like, I was having a stroke like so many times because I was like, I don't know what to do. Or my dad would straight up tell me, Kaysha, call the police. And I would just get off the phone with him and call the police like super fast. And then the people would be sitting there like, she actually just called the police. Yes, I just called the police. I tell people try to provoke me into like physical things as well. And I would just sit there and tell them, look, man, you don't deal with the police, because they'd be like, we don't deal with police. I was like, you don't. I do. I will call the police right now. I am not playing this game with you. I don't care. You are not going to put me in a position where I am going to jail or I'm going to lose my life, because the position that I was in, I couldn't afford to make those decisions. Not everyone else is in the position I was in. I was literally trafficked. That's a whole different situation. On the flip side, a woman in general, no, doesn't stand a chance. if a man pulls a gun on you, what are you gonna do? You think you're gonna be like one of those cool women in like the movies who's just gonna like kick the gun out of his hand, or she's gonna overpower him because she has these amazing karate skills? Again, if someone is coming to attack you and they know that you're at work, and if a man is coming to you to burglarize your house when your wife is alone, he probably has done it that way because he knows the husband is at work and the wife is alone. Her best chance is to run away, call the police, or shoot him. There's no other option. There's really no other option. There's no, I'm gonna tussle it out. Nah, man. I'm none of that girl boss nonsense, bro. Someone said, I see flowers as an expression of an aspect of God's nature. For sure, it's an aspect of God's nature. It's just people use God's nature for wicked and evil things. And I've watched people do that. Like, people will give gifts just for wickedness and just for manipulation. And it's just like, someone will punch you in the face and then give you a gift to try and make up for it. It's like, that doesn't change the fact that you just punched me in the face. Like, I can forgive that you punched me in the face, but I'm not going to forget, like, putting this flower doesn't forget that you just punched me in the face. Like, that, the consequences, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the extent to what people do. That's an extreme example, but that is the extent to what people do. Instead of actually fixing problems or working on things, they will give words of lies and then give gifts to cover up with band-aid kind of gaping wounds of stuff that they've done. And it's like, why would you done that? I don't know. You said, I used to think roses were the only pleasant smelling flower, but now I know there are many flowers. Roses are red, violets are. I've not ever really paid attention to the smell of flowers. My granny has a flower garden, and sometimes I'll smell her flowers, and some flowers don't smell very good to me. I don't know. Now, I like roses, but like I said, that's now. I used to hate them, but... So, yep, that's why men want to be the first with everything with their lady. Women are just opportunities cravers because at the end of the day, they will say, I didn't ask for that. So, that you ever been to Jamaica, sis? I'm sorry, I was just distracted by some reggae I'm listening to. He said, I'd never forgive that. LMAO. Never forgive what? Wing Chun entered the chat. What's Wing Chun? No, I never been Jamaica. I've never paid attention to the smell of flowers either. No, me neither. I never been Jamaica. I never been, I would love to go to Jamaica, actually. All of my friends growing up said that Jamaica was amazing. And a lot of my friends growing up was Jamaican. Because, you know, that we're Christian, but like we're West Indian. There's loads of West Indians in the area that I grew up, and most of the West Indians were Jamaican. I guess loads of Jamaicans just come over to Canada, and that was cool, you know. Like, oh, he said punched in the face, would never forgive. Oh no. I mean, you gotta forgive because you have to move on with life, but you obviously don't forget. And you know, the repentance has to match the crime. But anyway, and just because you repent to the weight of the crime doesn't mean that you're going to still be involved with an individual like that. But that's... Someone said Jamaica is like the freeway in the Matrix. I don't remember. But yeah, loads of my friends growing up, they were Jamaican, and they were like, yeah, we love it, and it's great, and it's so beautiful, and you should go. And I was like, yeah, but like I would never go. But at the same time, they were like, it's so dangerous. And I'm like, girl, you just told me that you love it, but it's so dangerous. Like, and you're telling me I should go. So I don't know, like, I would only go Jamaica with someone that obviously that I trust, that is also from there or knows the place enough so that I would be safe, because I don't I don't think it would be safe. I don't know, but Jamaica would be very cool. I seen like loads of photos and, you know, from my friends and like videos and that, but I never been the West Indies. I never really traveled anywhere really before. The only place I've been was UK, America, and I went mission trip in grade 10 with my Christian school to Nicaragua. And before I'd been before we went, like, in the actual Nicaragua, like, I think when we were no, we were actually there. We went to the main city, like Diriamba, Managua, and another small place. And while we were at one of the like hotel places that we were staying at, the people were like, if anyone looks like David or Kaysha, don't ever leave the group and always have your passport on hand. They will think that you are a citizen trying to escape the country, and they will hold you here and you will never make it back home. I was like, because obviously I had super curly hair at that time when I was younger, and it was like super like big and spirally or whatever, and me and David had the exact same hair, but he was actually Nicaraguense. His family was from Nicaragua and some of his family was from Panama, and actually they came and uh I think his family came and like visited them while we were down there doing some of the stuff. But I never ever left the group. I kept my passport and everything on me at all times, because I was like, as soon as all of the Nicaraguenses they came up to us, they always started talking to me in Spanish, because they're like, "Oh, are you Nicaraguense?" I'm like, as soon as I responded back in Spanish, because we were also taking Spanish in school at the time in our classes or whatever. And as soon as I responded back, they're like, "Oh no, she's not Nicaraguense." I was like, "No, I'm not." Someone said Morpheus told Trinity never go on the freeway. Well, I don't know. I just never think travel would be good, because even the person I went to UK with, I went to UK for like visiting family, and then like there was a person I was talking to at the time, and his family had like a wedding down there, but his family knew my family, and um I had family in UK, so I knew that I would be safe because my family was just down the road. So it wasn't to me, and I paid for everything, my trip and everything. So like it wasn't to me a big deal, because our families were involved. Both of our families was involved in like understanding the trip and what was going on, or else I would not have gone. Um yeah, I don't believe in traveling all over the place, because my dad said it's not safe, and it's not safe. It's really not safe. Someone said you got to travel, man. Miami, Colombia, Thailand. I'm not traveling by myself. I don't ever want to travel by myself. I don't why? It'll just put me in danger. Wait, you ate?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I'm gonna stop this and then eat.
Oh.
I have to, after that, come back and set up for the next stream.
If the person that I'm like, a woman should never travel by herself. She should only travel with like a man, because that's the only that's the only safety. Why would you travel to a country you don't know? I don't know anything about Thailand. I don't know anything about Miami. I don't know anything about Colombia. Why would I ever go to those places by myself? I'm a very ambiguous person as a mixed race person. Most people from all over the world approach me and talk to me in their language, thinking that I'm from their country. People from Spanish-speaking countries will talk to me in Spanish. People from the Middle East will speak to me in Arabic. People from Asia will speak to me in their Asian language, because they think I'm mixed with Asian for some reason. People from India will speak to me in one of the Indian languages. I don't know anything about any of these places, but I'm racially ambiguous. So for me to go to any of these places when I'm so racially ambiguous is exceptionally dangerous. I would go missing. I would go missing. I don't think it's a good idea. So I said, you would enjoy Ghana. It's exactly like Jamaica, but with peace. No, I think I would enjoy Jamaica. more. I don't see a reason for me to go to Ghana, but I mean, like, if my future husband ever wanted to go, then I guess that's what he wants to do. But I think I would enjoy Jamaica the most. I think I would really like Jamaica. I know I would really like Jamaica. You sound like you speak Spanish good. I heard some tongue rolls. Lol. True, much safer with a man. Agree. Yeah. No, my granny lived in Spanish speaking countries when she was younger. She traveled through the West Indies. And she had me take Spanish in school when I was done taking French. Because I was tired of French, and then I was like, oh, let me take Spanish instead. My granny was like, you'll like Spanish. And my granny speaks some Spanish. So that's what it is. And I stopped speaking for many years because you take a class in school. It's just like whatever. And then we went to the mission trip. You use it and then you don't use it again. And I had Spanish friends growing up. So it's like you know some things. And then in speaking French, you're going to understand some of the differences, which is funny because the people who spoke French understood the Spanish kids, but the Spanish kids never understood what the French kids were saying, like the kids who spoke French saying, which is weird because a lot of the words are the same. That it's just, and the structure is a lot the same. It's just some things are just very slightly different.
Well,
And then
actually started out bad. It just started out well
Rumble.
on the America Happens.
Wow. But what's it called? What was I saying? Yeah, so that's why. And then when I was unlawfully detained in that detention, they sent me to, like, the immigration detention. They sent me to a Spanish, like, one that was predominantly Spanish people, Hispanic people. And so I learned a lot that or whatever. Someone said, I think Jamaicans are technically Ghanaians because of the slave trade. They are. West Indian people are literally just a mix of Africans, East Indians, and some Europeans. So yeah, they are. They're yeah. You can't say that to a West Indian though. You cannot tell a Caribbean person that they are African. They're gonna be like, you're not African. It's like, yes, you are. Anyways, so guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Have you ever done Spanish Latin dancing like salsa, bachata, cumbia? No, why would I do that? I'm not Spanish. I didn't grow up doing those things. I'm West Indian. I'm Caribbean and native. Anyways, guys, good chat. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. I'm gonna go eat. Yeah, pretty much you guys get the point. Women need to submit. They need to let men lead. Let men be men. Women just need to do their roles as women, and that's, you're gonna have the best, union coming together to do things. And you got to put your feelings aside sometimes and your pride and just do what needs to be done. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Ciao. Hello, friends. My name is Kaysha, and I'm a proud member of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. And I'm also a survivor of human trafficking. My trafficking began in Saskatchewan, moved into Alberta, and even crossed into the United States. I was stalked, hunted, and ignored by the very systems over the last 5 years that were meant to protect me. This is why, with my father Dale Richardson, we started the Karis Project. This is an Indigenous, survivor-led movement for humanity dedicated to exposing trafficking, government corruption, and holding institutions accountable. One of the most powerful tools that we are using is the petitions for redress of grievances. These are lawful constitutional actions rooted in Canadian and US law, and in treaties that tie us together across provinces, across states, and even across borders. These petitions are precedent-setting. They create a binding record. They demand accountability while representing reconciliation in action. Indigenous and non-Indigenous people working side by side to preserve liberty for all. But we cannot do this alone. We need your help to keep this movement alive, to raise awareness and to build a legacy of justice for Indigenous women, for trafficking survivors, and for families everywhere. Thank you. Please stand with us. Your support makes this work possible. Together we can restore justice, heal families, and defend freedom. And I will close with my favorite quote. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who cannot be bought or sold. men who in their inmost souls are true and honest, men who do not fear to call sin by its right name, men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole, and men who will stand for the right, though the heavens may fall.